Welcome back to another episode of the Centre Circle podcast. This is episode 13. Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I right?
13,
Am I on track?
yeah.
13. Yeah. Lucky number 13. Unlucky, some would say. You're probably wondering who this is introducing the pod. It's not the normal Coca or Keith. This is Isaac. And with me, we have...
Oh, I thought you were about to introduce yourself. Yeah, Marky Mark.
What's going on?
Dad's in the building.
T. And yes, to all the listeners and watchers, thank you as ever for watching the content, streaming the content, however you take it in. Please subscribe, share, repost, whatever you, however you want to, pass it on. And stay tuned in. Where do we start? I know...
It's only one place to start.
Yeah, one place to start.
The big one. Biggest game, the biggest club game of the season, right?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? How did you, first of all, did everyone lock in or was we all busy?
I didn't watch. I was at barbecue. I was just
caught
sitting
the
there
second
hoping
half.
that Inter would win.
Hoping that Inter would win.
No,
I said that from last week.
I didn't want them to.
Well, you didn't want Man City to win?
No, I didn't want Inter
I
to
waited
win.
into bro. Arsenal ain't won the Champions League, bro.
But they've spent a lot of money.
That's shocking.
They've spent a lot of money.
Do you know what? I actually want them to win.
Really?
Definitely.
Because
the
I always
reason.
like the best team to win.
Yeah.
And I feel this season they've been the best team in Europe. So I think they deserve to be champions.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah. I to be fair, I agree. I was watching bits and bobs of the first half because I was at a barbecue, but by and large watched the second half. And
Hella barbecues, no invites.
No invite.
It was one of them ones. It was, hey, we did nothing. All right, come down. We're frying up some chicken. Who am I? I'm not going to turn that down. You know what I mean? But I caught the second half. Thoughts on the game itself? What are your takeaways? Anyone?
I didn't watch
I'm going
it.
to throw it
I
out.
said
I'm
I
going to
didn't watch
throw
it.
it
Did you
out.
watch none of
See what it is.
None of it. I was at a barbecue. Not a single minute. There was a man lying on the floor watching it, like with his beers and his.
No, do you know, it was
mad.
an alright game. Inter done well. They were in it. They were chasing around. There was this one-off game in it, so I probably just put everything into it in it. But it was a good game. They was frustrating City. City didn't look like their normal selves, but one-off game final, they got it over the line, innit?
Yeah, I think for me, I looked at the Inter team and they looked like they set up to your point, frustrate and try and contain the City dominance of the ball, right? So in order to do that, you're going to need a lot of legs, especially in the middle of the field. Brozovic, Barella, etc. Guys that have got that energy to go box to box, just to do those doggies. City themselves, in my eyes, didn't look like the wheels were fully greased. Looked like they were kind of having issues, maybe looking as dominant, let's say they did against Real Madrid. That part, the way they've set up that team, what I've noticed is bringing in Akanji, who's rated as a good passer. Akanji. Don't try it.
I'm sure you said I can do, but we'll go.
You know? Wow.
Akanji.
You're not going to catch me today.
Hey,
not
we've
today
recorded,
of
so
all
we'll
days.
see after.
He's rated as a good passer for a defender, right? And I think, Pep was kind of warming that style up quite early in the season. And bringing Akanji in, it's giving him that flexibility to now push Stones into the middle, who we've clearly seen, the Barnsley Beckenbauer.
Baller.
He's quite
Brilliant.
comfy
Yeah.
on the ball.
Baller.
He's able to do that job. But in order for them to do that, you need to be confident in that your centre-backs can play with the football, right? And Ake is quite good on the ball, left-sided footballer. You've got Diaz in the middle, who's quite competent, and Akanji. And that box, they just look like, I don't really think Inter at any point looked like they were going to break that down. Who did they start up front?
Dzeko up front.
Dzeko.
Dzeko and
Lautaro.
Martinez. Yeah.
Touching on that, you didn't think they were going to break City down at any point. I did ask someone at the time who's playing the better. And for the first 20 minutes, that person said Inter are playing better football. Inter look more likely to...
From what I saw, Man City looked quite nervous.
Okay.
I think it was the pressure. I think they knew they were favourites. They've not won it. There's times when they maybe should have won it. And I think they knew we have to do it this time. If we don't do it this time, then we're never going to do it. And they came out, they looked quite nervous. They didn't play their, as I alluded to, they didn't play their proper style of football. They didn't get on the ball and dominate as we know City do.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just one of them games where they just needed to get over the line if whatever way they could. And I think they're going to be over the moon with the 1-0. But yeah, it was one of them games where they wasn't magnificent.
I think if Inter went 1-up, it would have been a dangerous, that would have been trouble for City if Inter went 1-up.
I think for the neutrals, that would have been the best thing to happen.
Yeah.
Inter to score and then it forces City to have to up their levels, turn into the City that we know at the end of the season where they just turn into this absolute machine and just apply so much pressure. I think without that though, it wasn't the most exciting final, Champions League final. Probably.
It wasn't. Giving credit to Inter, Edison was probably City's best player.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that says a lot.
Yeah, that does say a lot.
But he when he was called upon, what can you say?
To pick it back off of that point that you've made there about it wasn't the greatest final, I don't think it's been the greatest Champions League season. I can't think of many great games or like magnificent moments that I've seen this season in the Champions League. Like even the knockout stages, can you think of any
A few
great
teams
ties?
are going through a bit of a transitional kind of thing. Real Madrid, Bayern. The only solid team was City, really.
Yeah.
I would say.
I agree with that.
Shows AC and Inter and all them kind of teams are in the semis and you get me?
A lot of the ties seem to be like over after the first leg. Like there was no hanging in the balance. You see how in other European competitions, the Europa League and the Conference League, we see games going down to the wire. Not so much in the Champions League this season.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point. And like T said, there's a lot of transition going on around Europe. And City, through the resources that they have and the manager that they have in place, they're able to just maintain their standards. And sometimes, and in some cases, up that level where need be. Like bringing in Haaland, that was a massive step up from last season. You know, I think Real Madrid went backwards from last season. You know, I don't think any key players left, but they definitely weren't the same.
They got aging.
They got older, so every year they're getting older and older.
Yeah. Interesting point, player to pick up on. Jack Grealish. Right. He's had a very interesting second half of the season since the World Cup. His performances have gone through the roof. He's strung a few performances together that have turned all of the critics, especially his most ardent critics, their opinions around. I mean, Thierry Henry stood in his face and said to him, "Look, I didn't believe, you justified your fee, but you've proved me wrong." What do you think, Mark, and how he's done so far? I think
to your initial point, he's had a tremendous season. I don't think he's had a sort of good second half to the season. I think he's been probably one of their standout players for the whole season. I think the rest of the team have had to catch up to sort of his level and some other players in and around him. But Jack Grealish in himself, I think he's definitely justified the fee they paid for him. But for me, he was always going to justify that fee because if you saw him at Aston Villa, he's miles better than most of the players, especially on the left wing, right? So when it comes to him getting that ball, driving it straight into the penalty area, I don't think there's many that can really say they're better than him at doing that.
So you're saying that he's pretty much the best left wing? In
my opinion, I think he's
right
the best. The fact you're starting for, you can say, you think it's wild, but the fact he's starting for Man City week in, week out, you are the best team in the Prem.
Oh, so by that logic, they're also the best team in Europe.
Yeah.
Are you saying?
I'm not saying that.
What are we saying?
I'm not saying that some other teams are. Give me a player that's better than Jack Grealish. Just see.
But what, in Europe?
Because he's in City and he's the best.
Say Rashford.
He's been in City.
You could say Martinelli. You could say Rashford.
I'll say Martinelli's been better than Grealish this season.
I'm not sure.
But I'm a
Maddison.
guy. I'm a GI guy as well. And I think that...
No, you can't say Maddison. Maddison's
Why?
not even in the equation, bro.
Why not?
He's been better than Grealish, bro.
No, I'm not saying he's been better. I'm saying you said who's better.
As an out-and-out left winger, you'd have Maddison over Grealish.
No, I know they're not. He doesn't really play left, innit?
So we can't compare them.
But he's a winger. That's what I'm saying.
Maddison's a winger.
Don't he play on the wing?
He
plays right side.
I'd have him send
Yeah,
centre mid.
No, you would have him, but he plays
Nah,
right
nah.
wing
I've not-
sometimes.
has
He
he-
played
have
on
he-
the wing.
I'd have to go back and check the files, but
He's probably played there, but he's
I know
not-
he definitely can because I'm not going to lie to you. To teach, I've seen him out on the
He
left
can
wing.
play there.
Yeah,
However, I would have had him at the 10. Not
I would
necessarily-
definitely have him as a 10. But
Yeah.
I'm just trying to.
Okay, so you're
I
saying that
think
he's
he-
as a left winger, you'd have him over
Forget
Grealish.
Maddison then. Martinelli, Rashford.
Yeah, definitely. I'm with you with both two.
I'm not sure.
And
Is that
it's
better? Is that naturally better, or you'd say like if I had to pick one or the other, or are we saying this season they've had a better season?
I think the performances have been better. And
Okay.
with
Some could say
Grealish,
Isaac. Newcastle. not you.
I was thinking, what? Don't bring me into this.
and with Grealish, I don't think he's justified his fee yet.
Yet.
No, they paid £100 million.
I'm not going to lie
for
to you.
him.
When you said that, I was going to ask you, but I
£100
wanted to
million.
let you land.
No,
For me, that is not justified.
It's
He's
justified.
not justified it yet.
£100 million.
He's won a treble.
He's won the
I want you to
treble.
be the difference. He's not the reason they won the treble, though.
He has been
No,
involved.
Haaland-
Arguably.
He's not
Haaland-
the reason he won the
Haaland-
treble.
Haaland
Arguably,
was the
Haaland
difference.
Is the
Yeah,
key.
okay, but you have to take Haaland aside to have a conversation about other players,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
Because you can't include him because it's just Haaland for everything.
He cost 100 million. He's won the Prem his first season, and then he won the treble his next season.
How's that not justified? That's easily.
No, that's the
justified.
team, though. That's not him. That's
Oh,
the
come
team.
on.
No, but then would you?
That's the team, though.
But he's in the team every week.
No, but if you take Haaland out of that team and put in a normal striker, do they win?
Yeah, they won the Prem.
They
Do you think
last
they
year.
win the treble?
Maybe
Well,
not.
Haaland didn't even score in the last 2 games.
But if I take-
But
If I
he was the top goal scorer in the UCL this season.
Okay, but he didn't score in the last 2 games.
Well, the
but you
Grealish,
can't
So we
do
could
that.
say if Haaland were there,
When did
they still
Grealish
would've won it.
score? When was the last time he scored?
What that doesn't mean he's not justified because he
But
didn't score.
all I'm saying is that if you took Grealish out of that team and
That's-
put
that's showing what the
put
colours.
Foden or someone, I still think they win the treble.
That's ifs and maybes, man. You can't say that, but he's justified his salary. You don't. If he was sat on
I
the
think.
bench,
I think. I think it's hard. Just to does his point. I think it's hard to justify his living up to his fee because Man City as a team are such a machine. They're so dominant. You can take one out and bring someone else in, and their levels don't drop.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's easier to say Haaland's justified because you can quantify his contribution through his goals.
Yeah.
Right. So you can sit there and say, right, top goal scorer in the UCL, top goal scorer in the Premier League.
yeah.
He's definitely justified his
Facts.
fee. It's harder to say how Grealish has justified his fee unless if the numbers aren't like stand out. If the numbers aren't significant, if the GA is not like, oh my God, yeah, he's created so many goals. I think you'd have to start looking
But
into
then,
I don't think he's got 10 goals in the Premier League this
but
season.
then look, they're gonna say, oh, but he plays for Man City. He's gonna create
I
numerous
mean,
chances.
he's what probably
We
one of the
just
most
heard-
fouled players,
We
Yes,
just heard,
Yeah.
every season.
right?
we just heard
Most dribbles
Antonio say he would score 30
for Man
for
City.
City if he was in
and
City.
then did what
He's
he did
exaggerating, but
in
he's
the
got a point.
Champions League.
I can see, but no.
Not Champions League, the Conference League, the final.
But I can see what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
He's exaggerated a bit. with
He's
it.
not a better finisher than Jesus.
Who?
Antonio.
Yeah. No, there's no debate. Come on, let's.
There is no debate.
There's
He's
no
not a
debate
better
there.
let's not do that,
finisher.
man. Come on, man.
He's not
Let's
a better
do that, man.
finisher.
If you put the
than
ball on his
Jesus.
bonnet, fair enough. He's tucking it, but allow it, man.
Yeah, all of
Yeah,
that.
finisher.
All of that just heads in from
Just send it, do that
5
with one
yards. and all
football,
that.
fine. You've got the best striker in the world, but
I hear
We're
you.
not
I
doing
think I'm with Daz in the sense that it's hard to justify Jack's contribution or his fee unless you're really going into the finer details.
right, let me tell you how you justify
Chances
it.
created, dribbles into the box, passes forward, those kind of things. Has he through his contact on the ball? Have Man City looked or created goal scoring? Have they scored or
you
have they
are-
created goal scoring opportunities?
You guys are just changing, almost moving the goalposts here. When you
I don't
justify,
think you quite.
when you
it's not-
justify
it
a
is.
player's value, you bring that player in because your ultimate goal is to achieve what they've achieved. Right?
Success, right?
Success.
Yeah.
Premier League, FA Cup, and mainly the Champions League, which is what has been eluding them this whole time. Right?
Correct. Yeah.
He has started week in, week out, pretty much the whole season, and they've achieved their goals.
To his own admission,
Yeah,
after the World Cup is when he stepped out.
that's fair enough. But they've still completed their mission. Their goal at the beginning of the season was to win Champions League.
Mhm.
He's been a massive part of that team. So therefore, they've achieved. He's what's it called? He's what's the word I'm looking for?
He's justified.
He's justified his fee.
Yeah.
That's it. There's no his goals and assists. He's only scored 5 in the Prem.
5.
5 in the Prem from what I've just seen. 11 assists altogether.
So Martinelli scored treble that amount.
But you can say Rashford has scored more goals than.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's had more. I think Rashford and Martinelli had the better season than Grealish.
Rashford to Grealish. Rashford, basically, they launch it, route one, left wing, gets onto the end of it, bangs it.
So he's
not doing. Essentially, Rashford is doing everything for himself. Grealish is a team player. Grealish brings everyone in and around him.
So you got England, you got Grealish or Rashford for left wing. Who you starting?
Good question. Wow.
You're talking rubbish.
Wow.
A little bit. You're
Wow.
talking rubbish.
I'm not talking rubbish.
How?
Are you
starting
serious?
Why?
You start
Both
Grealish.
on form. Or are you saying
You're
based
moving
off
nuts.
these seasons?
You're
I'm
moving
not
nuts.
it's based on this season. I'm not saying Grealish is a better player than
wow.
Rashford.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that.
Okay,
but
so what are you basing it off then?
their season. This is what
This
we're talking
season.
about. Right? We're talking about how they
One
this
scored
season.
15 and one scored 5.
No, but I'm not talking. It's not about goals. It's about the eye test and what they've done for the team this season.
Oh.
You think if Rashford on form was at Man City, Pep is playing Rashford ahead of Grealish?
Yes.
Come on now, get out of here, bro. That's bonkers.
Wow.
That is bonkers, man.
Okay.
Wow.
That's absolutely bonkers.
Speaking of player comparisons, I don't know if anyone caught the post-game commentary, but when Henry was talking to Jack, Kyle Walker was also present. And Jack asked Thierry, in his prime, could he take on Kyle Walker? And
Henry smoked everything.
Henry's response was he laughed because he was like, "Is this a serious question?"
It's mad.
And then he realized Jack was being serious. He was like, "All day,
Man.
all day."
He asked the question first, though, right? In my prime?
Yeah,
He said, "In my prime."
Yeah. Did you think he was talking about now?
And then he was like,
Because he must be. Because that's what he's thinking. You must be talking about now.
Bro, you
T.
must be.
Like, what did you think of that?
Come on, man. He smoked everything.
This is I was saying this. I think he made the best defenders.
He
the
smoked
world.
everything.
Just
Look,
kick it and
average.
run. Remember the Inter games and the Real Madrid games? Just kick it. Go on.
He doesn't have to do much.
Doesn't have to. You don't have to do much.
He come up against some of the best right backs in the world.
Proper right backs. Serious.
That had pace,
Come
that
on,
had
man.
awareness, that could tackle, could do all of that,
Come on, man.
and made them look average.
Kyle Walker's good, but it's mainly his pace, and
It's mainly his pace. Yeah.
So this is the other side of it, right? I don't want to take away from Kyle Walker and just diminish his ability. Do you think?
This is exactly what you're gonna do now.
No, but I'm just going to say, do you
No,
think
but
we look down on him because of his pace? Like, do you think? Could you look at Kyle Walker and say, no, he defensively? Let me take a pace away because this is the same kind of critique about Theo Walcott. Take their pace away. Do they have the tactical side of it, the awareness?
No way.
The
No,
IQ?
I think if you took, I don't think Kyle Walker is the best defender. I think if you took his pace away, I don't think he's half the player. I think that is his main attribute, and it gets him out of a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Mm.
His pace gets him out of a lot of problems.
I think as a player blessed with pace,
Is that?
I think I could talk about this. I feel like when you have something like that, an asset like that, like pace, you tend to not
care
That's
about
what
the
you're
you
saying.
other
not
side
care
of it.
about
You
certain
You kind
things.
of rely on
It's
it.
like, yeah, I
you
get
kind
it.
of
And you
rely
can
on
get
it.
away with
Yeah.
certain things like
Mm.
you can get away with the not being in the correct place positionally all the time. Like you don't have to, because you do. If you come up against proper players, all they need is a touch, one.
Yeah.
Like so, it's different, innit? But obviously, at that level, he knows he can get back. He can do certain things. Even if he's in the wrong position or whatever, he can get back. He can rectify it, innit? So,
Okay, so without the pace,
mm.
is he a good defender? Which I think is.
But this is what I'm saying. If he didn't have the pace, then he would probably have to smarten up on some things.
But do
We
you think
would
he's
never know.
shown enough?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm saying you probably don't know until that happens, isn't it?
Mm.
I get what you're saying. He would adjust accordingly,
Yeah.
basically, because he
He
hasn't
would
got
have
the
to,
pace.
yeah.
So now, at the moment, he's playing with the pace. So he's playing in that way
How
that
many-
I know I've got the pace
How
to
many
get out of this
players?
problem.
Yeah, how many players have we seen that are sick on the ball, but they haven't got no pace? And you just think to yourself, "Oh, imagine he had pace. And then, but give him that pace, he probably wouldn't do certain things that he's learnt growing up playing football. Certain things that he does, where because he doesn't have pace, he has to do certain things. He's not gonna. You get me? Look at Fabregas ain't no pace, but he don't need the pace. His first touch is you're gone anyway. That's it. It's done.
Yeah.
You get me?
It's
So
true.
it's just different.
It's true. Okay.
So interesting. It's interesting to think about that.
Yeah, I thought it was. I mean, me personally, I hold Thierry Henry in very high regard. I don't think there's many defenders, if any, that could have handled him in his prime, and he's shown us that time and time again for Arsenal, for France. So yeah, I thought it was funny. I know probably in jest, Jack looked like he was being serious, but
Straight face and everything.
straight face.
I think he was probably talking about.
And when Thierry laughed, he was like, "No, seriously." Like,
It's nice to see though. You
He's
don't
probably
normally get that really.
He's probably talking
he showed
about
his
race,
personality and stuff. Yeah.
That's probably all that he was thinking about. The pace against pace. That's it. He can't be talking about anything else. Henry will rip him to shreds, bro.
Speaking of Henry, the CBS team, they are just
On banter.
Amazing,
It's I'd love to
amazing.
be part of that. Production.
they are just another level. And the way and the wickedest thing is, all of them, bar Kate Abdo, are on Sky. They're on BBC.
Yeah.
They're on whichever other production, but we don't get this side of them.
I was reading something about that. Apparently, because they're on American TV, they get a bit more leeway they want to focus on their personality and stuff like that. They give them, say to them, go out and do whatever you want sort of thing. Like, you don't have to make sure you read this script and that script, and they just show their personalities. Yeah, and
That
it
helps
works.
be more personable with the audience as well, man. The audience can relate to that more. I mean, obviously we like the match of the days and whatnot, but it's just more entertaining. I mean, I'd watch that CBS program.
Americans know what they're doing when it
Facts.
comes to those sort of things.
Yeah.
It's more their style over there.
Yeah.
The programs are more like that. We have a lot of debate programs, stuff like that. But
Look
it's
at
more personality.
Stephen A. and Shannon and
It's all about their personalities.
Skip.
We don't really have that.
Which is interesting because do you think those style of TV shows, I mean, we have similar, but it's not exactly the same, right? Do you think those style of shows can work, like the Undisputeds, the First Takes, the debate shows, all those debate, even the CBS crew, something like that where we allowed them to be more open, more personable?
I think it definitely will. And I think we're moving that way with the way that now everyone wants YouTube and clips.
Mhm.
Those sort of shows, they provide you with clips. No one's going to go back and watch it. No match of the day thing is going viral. Them talking about tactics or something like that. It's not going to go viral. Those clips from Henri and stuff like that, that's going viral. Everyone's seeing those when she does the introduction and does a little diss on Micah or something like that. Like, it's going viral. And that's what people want. But we're moving into that age now where it's all about how many clicks and views you can get.
We can see who's the most popular kind of people. Roy Keanes and
Yeah.
the Souness's, and not saying they're popular because of that, but they go viral more time, innit?
And to that point, we are seeing Sky give Roy Keane, Gary Neville, Micah more airtime, especially with programs like The Overlap. I don't know if you've seen any of that content, but it's good content. It is good, watching Roy and Gary share stories about United in the past.
Is Jamie not on
Micah.
that anymore? Jamie Carroll not on that?
Yeah, Jamie's on it as well.
He's on it. but
Gary
the-
Neville,
the most
Carragher,
recent,
Keane.
the most recent bits of content that they've put out was where they've got Jill, what lady used to play for England,
Jill Scott.
Jill Scott, that's it. Micah, Gary, and Roy doing bits of content. They're doing content basically. But I still feel like there's room for those debate types of shows. Not that typical. What was that program they used to do on Sunday morning? Guys used to around the table.
Oh, I
talking
didn't
about
mind that.
newspapers.
Sunday supplement.
Newspapers.
Yeah, I like that.
Did you like that?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
Really?
I like that. Yeah,
I never
like
watched
that.
it.
I got some information from it. I like
Yeah,
that.
I really like that.
Talk to me about that.
I really like
was-
that.
What?
It's
what
just
did
like,
it
because
for
I
you?
used to always buy the newspaper, so I guess just seeing someone else reading it for me was a bit of a bonus. But no, but hear me out though. So you're seeing someone read it, but also they're giving you information and they're inside.
Yeah.
Watching someone read the newspaper is nuts.
No, there's more to it. There's more to it. I'm just saying, based on my like for buying the newspaper at that point, obviously just going straight to the back page and that,
Do you go on YouTube and watch people play video games?
No.
Yeah, don't ever cuss your child for watching.
Yeah.
You know them kids that
You're-
play
you're-
with toys
You're
and
taking
don't ever
you're
cuss.
taking it still. But no, it was very informative. So like, that's
What I liked about it was that obviously journalists, you read the stories in the paper. Most of the time,
Right.
newspapers were big back then. We didn't have YouTube and everything, so that's how we got our information.
Mhm.
And then you actually got to see the journalists talk about their own stories, and they would talk about where this
Okay.
story has come from,
Okay.
and even that a lot of them were like editors of the sports department, so they would actually give background information of this story that you've read, of the story that they're reading at the time. So I found it interesting. Yeah, I thought it was really good, to be fair.
I've got a
Okay.
question.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with that. But how did I think everyone's going to be cool with it here. But I just wanted to know because I saw a little uproar against it. How did you lot feel about the Burna Boy thing? Concert. Not concert,
concert
but
or
show.
him turning up.
The show at the Champions League thing, isn't it?
He did
didn't
half
see
time, right?
Didn't see it.
You didn't see it?
Didn't see.
I
didn't see
saw
the whole.
a clip. I didn't see it at the time.
I saw him with the
So-
CBS crew. I didn't see.
What is it? When you say how do we feel about it? What
Do you
what
think
is-
it was? Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think
Oh,
it
so
wasn't a
like
good
how
idea?
they do with the Super Bowl and have the halftime
I
show
think it's a good
and,
idea.
and breaking. I think it's a good idea.
That's great.
And it's-
It's a great
I-
idea.
Great. Make it a show.
I think
Yeah.
it's a
You
great
would make
idea.
it a show like
Yeah.
it should be like the Super Bowl, like
Exactly.
FA Cup final,
put
them
more eyes on
thing. You should make them big, massive shows.
Big spectacles,
And what
right?
it does, it brings in different audience and stuff
Exactly.
like that.
Yes,
There's
yes.
some people that they don't care about
Exactly.
NFL at all. They'll still
Exactly.
watch Beyonce at half time.
100%.
They'll still tune in
100%.
and watch Beyonce. So
Exactly.
it's
The two biggest
Mm.
talking points of the Super Bowl are the halftime commercial
yeah.
and the halftime show,
Yep.
right? And like that says, it brings in a whole new audience.
Mm.
The Super Bowl, they say, is probably one of the most televised, one of the most watched events
Mm.
in the world. I would argue and say the Champions League has a bigger audience.
Definitely.
So why would you not, like that says,
Mm.
treat it like a spectacle?
Mm.
Have your opening show, have your halftime show, have your, or wheel all the superstars out. Like make it a whole event, a whole experience. I think it's a long time coming. They should have been doing this a long time ago. Having Burna Boy was, I think that I'm not gonna lie to you, I wasn't expecting Burna Boy.
I said they didn't even say who it was. That was gonna come
No,
out.
they probably
No, they
did,
did.
but
I think they did.
I didn't know until right, Burna Boy's coming.
So why wouldn't you explain that?
For an event like that,
Yeah.
I would have expected someone maybe more.
Choose your words carefully.
European.
No, I get what you're saying.
What exactly?
I know what you're saying.
As
Oh,
T said,
he's very popular right now. Oh, what? Because it's a European competition.
no, not even that.
Yeah, you
But
could say that, yeah.
Mark's really,
That's a good
Mark's
one. No, but
really
you said
standing there
Europe-
with a shovel. Like
You said
here
European,
go,
so I'm
mate.
just trying to work out what's like Burna Boy is. Everyone
Remember,
loves
we've
Burna
all
Boy right
played
It's good.
FIFA. We all know from the beginning
The theme
of
songs.
time, the theme songs. We
Oh
all know
my
all them
days.
tunes. We
Yeah.
know all their playlists. They've
She
got
said-
some banging artists on there that I don't know their name.
now. Aye,
But the
FIFA 23
tunes are
has
on
some
there.
Afro beats on there. So,
So but I hear that. But I just personally, maybe it speaks to the Burna Boy's significance as an artist and his stature,
Yeah.
Massive
and
artist.
maybe I've just
Massive, yeah.
I've just underestimated.
big time. That's why I said
right?
He done the
What?
All-Star game as well. He done NBA All-Star game this
Yeah,
year
yeah,
as well. So
See,
big
but
props to him.
Okay,
And but you would expect him more at an NBA All-Star. You would.
as opposed to the Champions League final, I'd expect
or the Super Bowl. I wouldn't.
even the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, the big names that they call
Mm.
for are Jay-Z,
Yeah.
Rihanna, Beyonce.
But they switch it up though.
Who else?
Dr. Dre.
Burna Boy's
Dr.
up.
Dre.
I wouldn't say he's
and,
up there,
and-
but
and
Burna Boy's a big
he
one.
brought
Evil.
his,
Kind of like more
friends,
legends,
All
isn't it?
that, yeah.
But
Yeah.
You have to be at the top of the game.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Have
yeah,
we
top
seen
of the game?
anyone that's like real current and fresh like Burna
Nah.
Boy?
Yeah, it's true.
That's why I was like, I was a bit surprised because I thought they would have gone for a Snoop Dogg, like a globally massively known and loved.
Mm.
This is their first one, man.
But again, like I said,
It's
maybe
their
I've
first
just
one.
underestimated. Burna
No, but
Boy's
the
stature.
tune's massive. The tune that he done was massive.
Mm.
He's a massive star, man. So
I'm
and he's
glad
relevant. He's relevant.
Exactly.
Very
Maybe they're
relevant.
going with the relevant thing
Exactly,
instead
which is good.
of the,
And it's a good look. Yeah, that's a good look, man.
I think that's a great look,
Yeah.
and hopefully the UK and the FA start following suit, right?
Yeah.
And we start treating the FA Cup and maybe the League Cup, but the FA Cup for sure.
Mm.
Maybe League Cup.
with some reverence. We bring it back because the FA Cup used to be. Like it used to be big, bruv. Like, do you remember we used to sit in front of the TV? No, but come on.
I used to watch the coaches come from the hotels on the road to
used to wait to see what they'd wear.
Are you not taking into account? Are you not taking into account that we are older now? Maybe the younger lot are still doing that. We're older now.
They don't even show that no more.
Everyone knows the FA Cup ain't like where it used to.
I'm not saying it's like where it used to be. But it's still big.
Yeah, no. Okay, it's big because it's our number one domestic cup, right? Yeah. But the importance, the reverence in which it's held, it's not the same. Everyone looks to you either win the league or you try and win the European trophy. And it's either the Champions League or the Europa, right? Even the conference, they tried to kind of shit on it with West Ham in there, right? Yeah. I think they need to bring that back though. Because like I said, I used to sit in front of that TV and wait to see. I loved it when the Liverpool come with the Spice Boys and they had the white suits on. Like it was a big occasion. Managers used to come out with the suits and the flower in the lapel.
To be fair,
they used to have the
big thing,
cup final song and all that kind of thing as well.
Like, to be fair, the TV was our internet, was our everything back then. So now we've got other sort of like distractions.
So, but that's why I'm saying they need to do things like halftime show, make it a spectacle, maybe even gas up the halftime commercial. Get eyes
it should be across all those platforms you speak of. They should be doing content for all them things.
Exactly. So I think that's the point. I think that's a great point. A great question.
I was just saying that because I saw a few people like, oh, what's this? What's going on? What is going on here? My beautiful game.
Look where that's what I was going to ask you. I was going to say two questions. What's the uproar and what is your take on?
No, I thought it was good. I'm cool with anything like that. More eyes on the thing. More eyes on the biggest game, club game.
The biggest sporting event outside of the World Cup. I think the World Cup and probably the Champions League final are probably two of the most
so it's biggest events. Thing. Why not?
Yeah.
I just saw some people, the usual.
Of course.
That's it.
Usual suspects.
And it's obviously doesn't help that it's not
European.
which is why I said I was shocked. Come on.
That's probably where the uproar was.
How long did it last? Did they lengthen the half time for it?
I think he done 2 songs.
Oh, okay.
Last.
Because the football half time's 15 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he done 2
As
songs.
opposed to a Super Bowl half time.
Yeah, it's like
but it looked good. Like it looked. That's why I didn't, because I never saw it. I didn't actually realize it was half time because the actual stage and everything looked serious. So I was thinking, did they do it? Even though it wouldn't really make sense before the game, but I was thinking that looks.
You could do it before the game.
Nah, don't work.
Half time is
before the game.
Before the game,
yeah.
I don't think that works, bro.
Because they have like an opening ceremony kind of thing anyway.
No, before the game could work. It could work.
I think halftime is probably the best place for
Remember, people are getting up and toilet and food or drinks and bare stuff. If it's 10 minutes before the game, it's typically ram by that time, innit? Like everyone's kind of sat down and ready, especially if it's starting opening ceremony and a performance. A lot of people are going to be more inclined.
The only reason I would kind of not like it before, because in that half an hour to 15 minutes before the game, as a player, you're locked in, you're focused.
I'm cool with it being halftime.
I'm not trying to. There's the whole process. They go do the warm up. They come back out. They go back in. They get it changed, and the kids on. The manager gives the last speech, and then they get in the zone and they walk out. Right? I mean, do you really want to upset with that before the game?
Yeah.
And I think the halftime is probably the best time.
Doesn't interfere with anything, does it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, interesting. Good question. Good question. Okay, let's move on away from the Champions League. Now that the season's done, we are into that portion of the season where it's a bit of no man's land. Everyone's on holiday. There's still a bit of activity going. They're trying to get things wrapped up before the transfer window opens and the new season kind of officially begins, right? There's been some activity already. We've seen Youri Tielemans has confirmed and signed for Aston Villa. What do we rate that as a move out of 10?
I think for him, just to give you an answer, okay, out of 10, I think it's...
And we can get into it. I just want to get the rating first and then probably delve into why you feel that.
For the club, I'd say it's a 10 out of 10. Big name. For him, I'd say...
10 out of 10.
Probably
10 out of 10.
That's a
Yeah,
big.
for the club.
That's
For
a
the club,
big.
I'd say it's a 10 out of 10. For him personally, I think it's probably about a 7.
Why would you say that's a 10 out of 10 for Aston Villa?
Because Aston Villa are in the ascendancy, right? They're the way, should I say, where Unai is taking them, they want to be buying that caliber of player. Even though Tielemans hasn't had a great season, I wouldn't want him anywhere near Arsenal. But if you would have said Tielemans would be playing for Arsenal a year ago, for Aston Villa a year ago, I think they'd have bitten your hand off for that. That'd have been an amazing signing for Aston Villa a year ago.
So essentially, you're saying he's a level of player above Aston Villa right now. They're punching with that.
I wouldn't say right now because of how his season has gone and how bad he's played this season. I think that's probably a fair. They're probably equal.
So why is that a 10 out of 10 if he's had a bad season?
Because he can.
And he looks like he's on the down.
We know what he can do.
Okay. So you're looking at what he's shown.
But just like I said, if
his ability.
If they said last year at the beginning of the season that you'd have Tielemans, they would have taken it.
Okay.
Tielemans at the beginning of the year was too good for Aston Villa.
Fair enough. Does?
For me, it's underwhelming on both sides. I'll give it a 5 out of 10 for the club and a 5 out of 10 for the player.
Where do you think Tielemans should go then if it's underwhelming? What sort of club?
He's run down his contract. A year ago, they were talking about teams like Arsenal in for him. A year ago, I don't think Tielemans would have been thinking he was going to Aston Villa.
Yeah,
that's why I think it's underwhelming for him, because a year ago, he would have been thinking he's going somewhere a lot bigger than Aston Villa. And from the Aston Villa side, I don't think that signing is any better than what they've got. I don't think that's going to up their levels. I think it's just another
Isn't that
decent
based
player.
on what Tielemans has been doing this season though?
Sorry?
Isn't that based on what Tielemans has been this season as opposed to how we know Tielemans can play?
Well, I'm basing him on what he's done this. Yeah, I'm basing him on what he's done this season.
Okay, so
What he's done in the past is what he's done in the past. I'm looking at what you're doing now because I'm not getting the player.
But if he gets back to how we know he can
But
play.
what if he doesn't?
Okay, but I'm just saying in terms of the player that they've got on paper, Tielemans is a great signing for him.
I don't think so. I think they've got players just as good in that midfield.
I don't know about great sign.
Where would you say he should go then? What team should have picked him up?
From his perspective or from a team perspective?
From the team's perspective. Because it sounds like you're saying
For a team, if he went somewhere like his team just got relegated. So I'm expecting him to go to if he went to a Fulham or something, I'll say, yeah, it's a 10 out of 10.
I mean, let's be
Fulham.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, right? He hasn't for the past 2 seasons, he hasn't lived up to his hype, right?
There's a reason why he's been linked with Arsenal and Man United in some cases. There's a reason why.
Before all that hype or that linking came in and the links to Arsenal, etc., he was a decent player. I wouldn't have said he was we need to go and get Youri Tielemans, right?
No,
he came through part of that at the back end of that golden generation for Belgium. They said, "Oh, look his performances for Belgium. Look what he's doing." And yes, when Leicester were in their pump, he was right in the thick of it. But for the last 2 seasons, I don't think he's been anywhere near what he's capable of. So therefore, I don't think this is a 10 out of 10 signing for Aston Villa, because now Unai's got to pick him up. Essentially, he's got to revitalise him.
Yeah, but
as
if
a player.
he does that, that's a great signing for him. Everything's an if though.
Yeah.
But it's not great when you look at his last 2 seasons though.
I wouldn't say his last 2 seasons were a complete write-off though. But anyway, my point is, at the beginning of this season that we've just finished, he was heavily linked with Arsenal, even in the January transfer window. There's a reason why.
And a lot of people were like, no, we don't want him.
How do we know a lot of people said no?
No, I'm saying
the
fans.
The general
a lot of people were like, nah.
I was one of those fans. I didn't really want it myself. But
There
my
you
point is,
go.
there's obviously still a player in there. So for me, for Aston Villa, it's a great signing. For him personally, it's underwhelming.
Is it a great signing if you're trying to ascend up the ladder, right? You're trying to become a better team. You're trying to get up, climb a few
it's a free
positions.
sign, because essentially you're not paying for him, yeah. That's probably. I mean, I wouldn't recommend they pay for him, but because they're getting him for free, there's a chance he might get back to that player that we all know is in there or should be in there. If he gets back to that level of playing, why wouldn't it be?
I think it's a good
free
move.
signing.
I think it's a good move for him.
For him,
For him, it's a good move.
I think it's a great move for him.
He's going from a team that's just got relegated to now he's in where are Villa in the conference?
Let's say mid-table
in the conference
team.
league, back in European football.
Well,
Good manager, good team, a team that's on the up. Why is that? That's a good
I didn't say it's
move
a bad
for him.
move for him. I said
Very
it's a
good
7
move for
I
him.
said it's
For
7 out of 10.
Villa, you don't know what you're gonna get
So,
because
good
there's
point.
other players in that's played for Leicester. You can say, oh yeah, but Leicester's kind of falling off, and James Maddison ain't falling off. He's a player.
Just James Maddison. What about
No,
anyone
but I'm
else?
saying, no, we can. Obviously, they've gone down. A lot of those players have been poor, but he's been one of them.
We're linked. Arsenal linked with Castagna. Like, he's part of that team. There's load of players in that team. Like, we can't just look at because he's played a bad season. But there's probably a reason why collectively they've all had a bad season.
He's had 2 bad seasons. He's had 2 bad seasons. Even when he was linked with Arsenal, it was a loud no from a lot of fans.
Well, I hope he shows you lot up, man.
And
I hope he turns it
Maddison,
around.
I was one of the people that said last season he's only had 1 bad season. I would take him, but now it's carried on to the next season, and now Leicester
I'm not
got
dis-
relegated.
I'm
Now
not
I'm
disputing
thinking, I don't really see it, and now I'm thinking maybe Arteta was right, not picking him up or not.
Just
You're-
on your point about
Yeah.
Aston Villa, what makes you think they're on the up?
They're on the up, bro. Come on.
It's not what I think they are.
They're on the up, bro.
They are.
Well,
Okay. All right.
Can I just,
So league position aside, considering they finished higher than they did the season before.
no, but I'm thinking next season, are you not expecting them to finish higher than 7th? Because I'm not.
No.
I'm not saying
No,
that.
but it's
not
about
up then, they're
no,
on the
but it's,
way out.
Okay,
no,
but
but it's about
they-
maintaining
Are
though.
they on the up?
But it's about maintaining though.
Exactly.
So you think they can finish 7th again?
They
I
could.
don't see why not.
I don't think they can.
I'm just saying they could,
Why
and they're
not?
in a competition.
Why not?
They're now in a European competition that they could not easily win, but they have every chance of winning.
They could win that competition and they could come 14th.
Like
Like what West Ham
but to
done.
them, that's fine.
But is that on the up?
That would it's
That technically,
it would
yes.
So
it
what
would
is West
be.
Ham? So if West Ham going from 7th to 14th, but winning the Conference League,
Look
is
at
up
them.
on the
They're
up.
really enjoying themselves right now.
But
Have you seen the parade and
No, but
everything? They're
Is
really
that,
enjoying.
did you
it.
say they're on the up though?
Not on the up. I wouldn't
All
say
right, so-
West
so-
Ham's
yeah.
on the up.
So the reason, all right, I would. The reason why I would, number one, they're still in the league, right?
Mm.
They're now in Europa League competition, and it goes back to this whole now they're the pool of players they now have to play with, right?
Yeah.
You could write last season off as a blip and just say, look, all right, we've won the Europa League.
Mm.
I mean, the Conference League. We're now in the Europa League. New season's a fresh start, right? We've got Skamaka's had a chance to bed in. We're going to be able to go and attract 1 or 2 new players from a bit better pool of players. Who knows, right? So next season they could finish, hypothetically speaking, 6th, 7th, right?
Mm.
They could go quite far in the Europa League. It's improved last season was just a blip.
But it's funny you say that because if we compare the 2 clubs, next season, I would probably expect West Ham to finish above Aston Villa.
This is all ifs. We just spoke about ifs. Like, you can't base it on ifs. If Tielemans has a good season, it would have been a great signing. You can't base it on ifs.
So we're basing it on what he is now then. How he's doing.
Oh my days. My point is, he as a player, as a package, is a decent signing for a team like Aston Villa.
No, you said it was
You said
10.
10
You're
out of 10.
alright.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
said
no,
10
I
out of
didn't
10.
say
it's
You
10.
did
It's
say
for
10.
No, hold
For
up.
Aston Villa, you
Hold
said
up.
10 out of 10.
You said 10 out of 10.
For Aston Villa, it's a 10 out of 10 signing. For him personally, it's a 7.
All right.
Yeah? There's a difference.
All right. I think it's only a 10 out of 10 is if he comes and balls out, right? Which is a if, right?
Yeah, it's
It's a massive if
A big
because
if.
you're only as good as your last performance. And the last 2 seasons he's had have not been
So
as
it
good
can't be a 10.
as the season as 2 seasons
Well,
ago.
there's
when
mitigating
Does
circumstances.
he start for them?
He does. There's mitigating circumstances as to why he might not have had a great
Okay.
season.
He starts over.
He's not better,
Where's
he's
this
not better
player?
than Douglas Luiz.
Wendy.
He ain't better than Douglas Luiz, that's for certain. He's not better than Douglas Luiz. No way. I'm not having that.
But we need squad depth in it. Like, he might turn up and
So you're
play
saying
better than Douglas
no, I'm
Luiz.
talking
not
about
saying he's better.
starting.
I'm not saying he's better than Douglas Luiz. We're having a different conversation here, bro. We're having a different conversation.
No, but you said it's a 10 out of 10 signing for the club.
For the
So
club,
that
it is a 10
means
out of
they're
10
bringing
signing.
him
Go
in
straight
and he
into
should
the
go
first
straight
That does
into the
not
starting
mean that
11.
you're changing it.
How?
You asked me to give it a
You've got 10 out of
rating,
10.
and
You've
I've
got to
given
go
it a
straight into
rating.
the
Now
first
we're
11.
turning it to he's a starter. Did I say he's 10 out of 10 starter?
No, we're saying
it's
you've
not-
given.
I mean, okay.
No,
so-
don't try and twist it.
No,
10 out of
no,
10
what
does
I'm saying
not-
is-
10 out of
what I'm
10
saying
does not
is
mean
he's
he's a
got straight.
starter.
Hold on.
10
All
out
right.
of 10 mean that you're buying your quality player for your club Aston Villa could never have looked at Tielemans at the beginning of the last season or the season just finished and said he's going to be one of our players. He wouldn't even have looked at Aston Villa. But the fact that he's gone there now, this is
that's
players.
Because,
we always talk about
that's
players.
because Villa was in the relegation zone.
We always
That's
talk
why.
about teams sacking their manager and getting this like new lease of life and whatever. But this might be what he needed. There's still a player there. There's still a reason why everyone has wanted Tielemans, bro. We can't just write him off because he's got relegated.
Who's everyone?
I'm generalising, but you can't just write him off because he's been relegated. And then you're going to mention Maddison, bro. Is Maddison the only player that got relegated?
No,
Yes, he
I'm
had a
saying
great
Maddison
season, but
played
everyone else-
well in that
So
team.
what? Who else? No one else played well in that team.
I would say
No.
Maddison played well in that team. Maybe Harvey Barnes played better than him.
Dewsbury Hall.
Maybe Dewsbury Hall played better than him.
There's a reason why we're linked with Castagna in that. I said it before. So
Right, fair enough. That's definitely
Can't go
caused a
writing
bit of
players off
contention.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Little bit of contention.
You know, we'll have to touch back on that next season. Yeah, we have to touch back on that one.
We'll click that one and
do very well, Tielemans. Count on you, bro. Remember, 10 out of 10, 7 out of 10. Count on you, bro.
All right, and another trade, another transfer that's happened.
Wrong.
Trade, you know.
This
I know
is
I've got
America.
a basketball on my brain. Another transfer that's happened, that's signed, sealed, and delivered. Ali McAllister to Liverpool from Brighton.
I'm sure it's Mac Allister, but
McAllister. McAllister. Same thing. I want to say, personally, I think it's a good signing. I think it's an absolute steal.
Out of 10?
What?
Absolute steal.
absolute still, bro.
What you
You
give
lot
it out
went
of
to
10?
the shop and
Out of
stole.
10,
10.
nah, definitely not.
No,
I
I
don't
would
think
say
he
What, because
comes in.
they put a next one in there saying 10 out of 10 is a starter.
Nah,
Is that why it's not a 10 now?
no.
Who
I
starts?
I think
not
for
saying he probably doesn't
Liverpool, it's an 8, which is
Okay.
still almost, we're not far off a 10.
And for
It's
him,
an
it's a
8.
10.
I think,
Yeah.
massively for him,
For him,
it's a 10.
Wait a minute,
Of course.
come on. Of course it's a 10 for him.
That's it. You're stepping up into a massive club.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not Champions League ball, but to his own admission, admittedly, he said he doesn't. He's happy not to play Champions League ball this season
Yeah, but when you've never
because he
sniffed it, you're not
wants
caring about it.
exactly. He wants a taste of just like low pressure European football, right? Okay, I mean, you can call it that because it's not Champions League, all right? It's kind of mid tier, it's the Europa League, right? For Liverpool, it's an 8 because it's been 3 years since we signed a midfielder.
That is mad.
3 years since Liverpool have signed a
Been
midfielder.
relying on those same old knees, boy.
Serious?
Seriously,
Oh,
3
you
years.
signed Arthur last season.
He's done a lot.
I was joking.
That guy that played 13 minutes. Wow.
Madness.
And then had the cheek to put up a post to say, "Oh, thanks for my time out there."
Nah, that's not
Just
true,
leave,
bro.
man.
Should've just left silently, bro.
Thanks for the money.
Yeah, nah.
Carvalho, you don't count him as a midfielder?
No.
That's a good point. But I mean, like a standout centre midfielder that's just coming.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Because
Mm.
Carvalho can play. I mean, for Fulham, he was kind of on the left, playing floating in the
Suppose
10.
you've had a couple come through, Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott that sort of come through in that time.
But like a central midfielder.
Yeah,
It's been a while.
Is Thiago the last one? Is that the last one you signed?
I think so. But then if that's the case, it's not been 3 years. But the stat I saw was 3 years.
Did Harvey Elliott really
I don't
come
know
through
when-
though?
I
They
don't know
bought
when.
him.
I don't know when.
Thiago's been here a little while though. You
Yeah.
know?
Oh, is it?
Like he's actually been a little while.
Harvey
Which
Elliott
is
quickly.
surprising.
Did he come through the ranks? He didn't come through the ranks.
No,
did
he
Like,
came
come
from
with
Fulham.
Fulham ranks.
Yeah.
Yeah, signed him for Fulham.
Yeah, we signed him
Cool.
from Fulham.
Mm.
Yeah,
Stole him.
it's been. I'm happy. I'm happy because I've been crying out for some legs in the midfield.
If that's your only midfield signing, I'm not gonna say only signing. If that's your only midfield signing this summer, will you be happy?
No, we need another person.
Okay.
I mean, we've been linked with Kefren Thuram.
Yeah.
And what's the lad's name? The one with the M. Kone.
Yeah.
Kone.
Is it Manu Kone?
Yeah, it's Kone.
Manu Kone. We've been linked with those two. I've not seen much of Kone. I know Kefren is
Baller.
very handy,
Baller.
very comfortable baller in the midfield.
Baller.
Very tall. Can go box to box, can score, has an eye
Baller.
for a pass. I would love if we can get him in. We definitely need. That's where we need the improvement in the middle of the park. I'm interested to see what happens next what our next target is. There was a link to James Ward-Prowse. I know it's a rumor.
It's 50 mil.
But
50?
Huh?
52 million. That's the price tag Southampton have set.
I don't know. I'm surprised.
52 million.
No, they're not getting that. They've just gone relegated. That's crazy.
They could get that.
How?
He's a top player.
He just got relegated.
Yeah,
Still
but
a
that
top
doesn't mean
player.
anything.
So you think they can
They
get
get
that?
more for
How
him.
much do you think Maddison's going to go for? Because they just got relegated.
60.
No, but Maddison,
That's what they're saying.
he's a different level
You
to
can't do that.
Ward-Prowse.
You can't do that. You can't do that.
He's an international,
You're
proper
just-
international
You're
now.
making your own rules up now, bro. You can't do that.
He's
Both
a better
teams have been
player.
relegated.
He's a better player than him.
That's fair dues, but like he probably still won't be going for less than 60.
No, Maddison's a better player, so I agree with Maddison's price. I don't agree with Ward-Prowse's.
So how much do you think he should go for?
He should go for about 30, 35.
Southampton's main man. You're just gonna let him go for
They just
30?
got relegated.
That doesn't matter. It's the same thing we just said about
I wouldn't be surprised if he has a relegation release clause in his contract. He ain't. No one's buying him for 50. If they're saying that he's not going for less than 50, he better just start training for the championship now
Oh
because
my God.
that's where he's gonna be playing next season.
But don't be surprised, man. In this day and age, 50s,
I
50s
guarantee
the
no
old.
one is buying him.
50s the old what? 20 mil?
No one's
50s the
buying
new
him
20 mil, bro. So
So you
Don't be
think
surprised.
he commands as a player 52 mil, and Southampton can get that for him, being in the position that they're in.
in the position that they're in, it makes them a bit weaker. So they won't be able to really negotiate that sort of fee, in my opinion. But if he's still got a lengthy contract, he's basically their talisman.
Is there enough demand for him though, for them to even command 52 million?
Possibly, he's gone down.
Do you really think there's enough demand for
I
him?
don't know.
We don't know
There's
because
talks
we're
of
not.
possibly Newcastle. There's talks of Tottenham. And now I'm hearing about Liverpool. I mean, going back to the rating signings, I don't think Liverpool should really look at him, to be fair. But
I agree with you.
Yeah, I'm surprised. at that.
Here's the thing, right? If Southampton are saying, right, we'll listen to offers,
Yeah.
and if you want him is 52, that's
Yeah.
one thing. But if he then turns around and says, no, I want to leave,
yeah,
you think they can still come out
No,
52?
they can't. They can't, because you have to get what you can now, because you're not going to get that 52. I think it'll be hard for them to get that, but they can ask for that.
But we know he wants to leave. He doesn't want to play in the championship, so of course he wants to leave.
Have you read that somewhere?
No, that's just logic.
Why?
Because he wants to be.
That's his club, bruv. He might want to
No,
bring them
but
back
he
up.
wants to be international. There's an international tournament next season. He's going to want to try and get on a good form and be with England. You ain't doing that in the
Let's
championship.
be honest. He's under 30, right? James
Yeah.
Ward-Prowse. You're still in contention for the England squad.
Yeah.
You're still capable of playing at a level good enough for European ball. Are you going to risk a season in the championship?
No, me personally, I'm looking to bounce. That's what I'll do. I think he should look to bounce as well. But we don't know what his stance is right now. I mean, it should be to look to find another club, because obviously there's the European Championships coming and whatnot, but we just don't know.
Look at that Southampton squad. Do they have enough to come back up? Right now, as it stands.
Currently, did they have enough to cut? Yeah, I'd say so. Currently, to bounce back up.
Out of the championship.
Yeah, I'd say so. They should. If they don't lose any players, or if they don't lose much players, they should just come straight back up. At the championship. Come on, man. Of course they should.
That's no good to him because the Euros are next summer. So
Yeah, it's no good to
yeah,
him.
it's not-
But as the team is right now,
He
as
has
the team
to-
sits, they
he
should
has
be able to come
he has
back
to
up.
leave. He has to leave. They're not getting 50
For
mil.
his own career, he has to leave. Obviously, he's not getting no younger. Obviously, he's not really played in many big tournaments, so he'd have to leave. But I don't know if they'd get 52 million, but they
He's
can
the kind
demand
of
that.
player that I would expect to go to Aston Villa. That's the kind of player that I expect Aston Villa.
That would have been a good move for him. I think we
Mm.
said that a couple pods ago. That would have been a good move for him. But so where would you put that in terms of Tielemans and Ward-Prowse?
I think it was a better signing than Tielemans.
And they got relegated rock bottom.
Yeah,
'Cause that's what we're talking about, right?
yeah, but he's played well. He played well. He played better than Tielemans.
Let's move on, bro.
He played better than Tielemans. He played better than him.
He's
I'm
got a
not-
point
I'm
though.
not-
He played better
I'm
than
not
Tielemans.
dis- I'm
In a
not-
team
I'm not
that
disputing
that
that.
was rock
But
bottom,
your
he
point-
was a
your
standout
point
player.
now is only your point now. That was his point before. He played better. You didn't say that before. You was just saying they got relegated. They got relegated. Everything I said, you was like, they got relegated. So I've turned it back on you now. It's
He's
played
better than him. He's played way better than him.
Okay.
And
I
he was
think-
in a worse team than he was in a worse. Tielemans was in a team that shouldn't have got relegated. Ward-Prowse was in a team that should have got relegated.
I don't think so. I don't think either one should have got relegated.
Fair enough.
You just said they're not going. Yeah.
Listen, we could be here all day.
Yeah.
We could be here all day on that point.
I'll give you that one.
Speaking of James Maddison, there's been reports that Newcastle are stepping up their interest in signing him. Do we think that's a good move for him or for Newcastle?
Very good move.
Yeah, for both.
Very good move for both.
Going into the Champions League, do you think he brings enough about him, enough ability to boost them, or even just as Trossard did for Arsenal, maintain their level?
Yeah, it'll help them maintain. I just think, you know what, with Newcastle, I don't know what their strategy is. I think at some point they're just going to flick the switch and just start popping out all these like name brand players essentially. Because I don't know what they're doing right now. Maddison's not a bad signing, but they need to do a lot to that squad, in my opinion, if they're going to even get out the group stages of the Champions League season.
Is that a good approach though?
But that's definitely up in the levels though. That's not even maintaining, that's up in there.
You think he comes in and ups the levels?
Yeah.
So, to Mark's point, do they flick the switch and spend crazy, almost like a Chelsea scattergun?
Not scattergun, no.
You don't think scattergun?
Not
Spend,
scattergun.
but not scattergun.
Spend, but just do it in parts. Like just maybe splash out some money in the defense, midfield, attack, and go again.
Do you think they can attract that level of player
in the Champions League?
So 2 questions, right? So as Daz said, number 1, do you think they can attract that kind of player? And then number 2, do you do that and upset the balance of the team and what Eddie Howe's built?
No, but this is why I said just splash out on
who?
On a name brand. I couldn't tell you the players. I'm not doing the scouting for them, but just bring in better players. Like, I don't know how much that Dan Burn's going to work at left back. I'm being brutally honest. Their midfield is okay, but is it good enough to go into the Champions League and get out the Champions League's group stages or finish top 4 next season if everyone's back to how they were previous seasons? Liverpool,
well, essentially
Chelsea.
they've gone toe-to-toe with the top 5, top 6, right?
Yeah.
And they've handled themselves very well. They've picked up points against Arsenal, Tottenham. You know, they've done well. Okay, they, you know,
picked up 1 point against Arsenal, just for.
But they've picked up points. They've handled themselves well, right? With this current team, against teams that are in the current Champions League or currently in the Champions League. So, I know this is a bit lazy, but I mean, they should be able to do okay, at least in the group stages. So why would they then need to go and splash out? Are you saying splash out but then that surely puts them in a realm of trying to win the Champions League, no? Because I mean, let's be honest, they're not in it to win it next season. There's no way they're going in it and saying our aim is to win it.
I just think
their aim is to probably have give a good account of themselves, right?
Yeah, I just think in order to maintain that top 4, like we all keep saying, when Liverpool, Chelsea, and all the other teams get back to their winning ways, it's going to come at some point. I don't think this Newcastle team, as it stands, is going to be able to withstand the test of time. I think they need to, because obviously their main plan, I don't see why those owners would buy the club if they're not trying to be pushing Man City at some point in the near future, right? Or whoever's fighting for the title, right? They didn't come in to just steady the ship and not eventually win trophies.
Well, to your point, and I know I put in the group earlier, but the reports are saying that Eddie Howe's they're only giving him 75 million, which I didn't believe because they're just throwing money around the
75 mil.
The Saudi Arabian League at the moment. I mean, T, what do you reckon about that? 75 mil. I mean, forget whether it's true or not. I mean, what can they do with that in this market?
Yeah.
Nothing.
That's Maddison and done.
Nothing, literally.
It's literally Maddison and a few loans.
They're in the Champions League now. They need to sign players.
Yeah.
They need to bolster their squad. And it ain't really about maintaining the levels. It's about upping the levels now, isn't it? So,
if you're Eddie Howe, who just, players looking at the market now, who are you trying to attract to the club?
The movers and shakers.
Would you say Sancho?
The names. No way.
No? Because of the season he's had at Man United?
Yep.
What the seasons?
They are seasons.
However long he's been at Man United, he's been whacked.
No way.
I just think it's the people he's had around him. It's going on topic a bit, but I think it's the people he's had around him at Man United. I think the people he had around him at Dortmund allowed him to just focus on football, but where he's got Whereas at Man United, I think he's got too much distractions. But
Okay, so that's an interesting point, and it's something I'd definitely like to build on. So let's put a pin in that one. Finish this conversation around Newcastle, and we'll definitely get back to that because I feel like he's definitely been Mr. Teflon this season. They've not really spoken about him and his lack of performances outside of him getting shipped off to the mountains.
Yeah. Go on,
So,
T, go on Newcastle.
I'm thinking like the play like their centre back they signed, Botman.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be those kind of players, highly rated, young, semi-young, like ready to go kind of things. Like the same with Man City. Like when Man City signed Silva and Company and those kind of players, they were well known, like spoken about young players, and they grew into like club legends. I feel like that's the kind of signings they need to go for. I don't think they need to get the stupid signings like Neymar's and stupid like kind of marquee players. They don't need that. They need a good, healthy squad, depth of young, hungry players. That's what they need.
What about Declan Rice?
For me,
I know he's heavily linked to Arsenal.
No,
but
if I was them, I would definitely be going for him. But I feel like he's made up his mind from what I hear.
Yeah.
But who knows? We never know, innit? Mudryk. So we never know, innit? But if I was Newcastle, I would definitely be asking the question.
he wants to stay in London anyway. So
for me with Newcastle, that 75 mil, I think they've thrown it out there because they don't want city prices coming at them. So I think they've got more money than that. But I don't think they can attract the level of player that you guys are talking about to up their levels. I think they're ahead of schedule. They didn't expect to be in the Champions League next season.
but expecting and reality are different. Though.
Yeah, they didn't.
The reality
but
now is they're
yeah, but then you've got a plan, and I don't think you change your plan. You can't then go levels up as in. I don't think the players that they need for Champions League, I don't think they can get them because these players are not going to go to them before they go to Arsenal. They're not going to go to them before they go to Man City. They're not going to go to them before they go to Man United.
They definitely can.
Exactly.
Because the difference is, the difference in certain teams that are in the Champions League and Newcastle that's in the Champions League is that they can pay.
They can pay.
They can pay for anyone.
Your wages.
Man United and Man City and all that can
No,
pay the
but
same
Man
money.
United-
Chelsea can pay the same money. Chelsea can pay the
But
same money.
United and the Liverpools and stuff like that, they got this heritage.
Yeah,
They got this legendary club image to them.
So,
Newcastle, even they have that in the UK, like they're a big club, massive club in the UK. But when you're like a Bruno, loads of teams wanted Bruno. The fact that they could pay him what they wanted, exactly what he wanted, more than probably what Arsenal would have gave him or someone else would have gave him. And that was before they was in Champions League, sorry. So imagine now, that same caliber of player will be like, yeah, cool, I'm going.
Yeah,
They can pay me exactly what I want.
I'm not so sure.
I can be a legend at the club because it's a one club city. You go there and it's...
Can I give you a scenario then? Say you're Alexis McAllister. This summer, Newcastle coming to you and Liverpool coming to you. Where are you going to go?
probably Liverpool.
For McAllister, if he didn't have a preference and it was just what's the two offers, probably gonna go where the money is.
No, say the money's the same. The money's the same contract.
Oh, then you go Liverpool, innit?
So you just spoken to my
No,
point
but they're
then,
gonna
like,
pay. They're gonna pay though to get these players. This is what I'm saying. They will pay.
So how much more?
If Arsenal go in for a player and Newcastle go in for a player and they don't really care where they're going, it's not about
That agent's
Arteta's
walking in there and saying, how much can you pay me?
Yeah,
How
they're
much
just
are
gonna
you
go.
willing to pay?
What are you giving? Because Arsenal are giving us 60k a week. Are you gonna go to 100? Yep, thanks.
Yeah.
Done.
Well, I don't think that's the way they're doing it.
And especially, I hear you, but especially with being backed by PIF, the Saudi Investment Fund, and we're seeing what they're doing with the Saudi Arabian League itself. They're just throwing money out there left, right and centre. That agent's walking there thinking,
I don't think
my
that they're
client
gonna,
wants to go here.
Yeah, I don't think that they're gonna go and say, "Oh, do you know what? We're gonna offer you 300k a week to like silly." But if they ever did, like, say Declan Rice didn't care where he played, and he said, "Right, boom, this is what the fee is. We can do that," and Arsenal are offering us 100, are you going to go to 125? I'm sure they would say yeah.
I think most players
And
will
Arsenal
go
ain't
to-
going to budge
will
because
go
that's
to the
how
legacy
Arsenal
club,
are.
though.
Done.
Yeah, most players would want to go to a legacy club. They will pick the Arsenals, the Liverpools.
That's what Chelsea was doing when they came in.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they will pay over. Cool. We just want him. Cool. We'll get him. Done.
Yeah. I just don't think they're going to do that.
I
think they would. If they were going to do that, I think they'd have started already.
No, I don't think with the fees that they're gonna go mad. But when it comes to probably personal things, contracts and stuff like that, and they're up against, and the player actually says, or the agent actually says, listen, we got 3 deals on the table. This is what they are. What are you gonna do? I feel like they'll pay.
So
Wages,
you guys
yeah.
are expecting Newcastle to sign?
Not expecting.
top players?
As long as it doesn't break their whole structure that they have.
Financial fair play structure.
There you go.
because-
As long as it don't mash up their thing, then
I
it's
think
calm.
the same. I think they'll get like Maddison. I think that's probably the kind of best player that they could get.
Nah.
I don't think
they can get
I
way
can't
better.
see them getting a better player.
They've
than
signed
Maddison.
Isaac. They've signed Bruno.
But
they're
they're
top players.
But
though.
these are unproven.
They're highly but they
Isak
were
was
highly
unproven.
rated.
Isak was unproven.
They were highly rated players.
I wouldn't go that far.
They were highly
I
rated in
wouldn't go as far
Europe.
as
Yo.
unproven.
He was at Real Sociedad.
I wouldn't go as
Come
far as
on,
unproven.
Bruno and Isaac were both highly rated players in Europe.
Bruno's a good player.
Isak
Bruno's
was-
a good
They were
player.
highly rated players.
Bruno's a good player.
Highly
Highly
rated.
rated.
Highly rated doesn't equal unproven.
I don't say
bro.
Isak was highly rated.
Highly rated.
I don't think
He
top
was.
clubs in Europe wanted him.
Arsenal wanted him.
I think, do you know what it was with
Mm.
Isak? They needed to see him play regularly.
Yeah.
At Dortmund, he was always second choice, right? Getting game time here and there. I think a lot of clubs, there was a lot of interest, but clubs needed to see. I think a lot of clubs were like hesitant to jump the gun. They wanted to see him what he would
Sociedad
do.
was doing well when he was
Sociedad
there.
gave
as
him
well.
the opportunity.
Yeah.
He scored goals. Him and Ødegaard linked up. They had a very good season
Nicely.
with the two.
But I would argue that he's second choice at Newcastle now. Because the guy ahead of him is scoring a lot more goals than
He's
him.
kind of been playing them both together. The last few games, he's
One's
playing them
been
both together.
shubbed out left
No.
and one's starting in the
Yeah, but
centre.
that's to accommodate.
But
though.
that's not. But
that's-
Isak can actually play out wide.
exactly.
Yeah, he can play out wide.
He's not been great out there though.
You're just
No,
trying to
he
be
has,
really-
he has,
I'm
he
trying
has,
to go with
he
that
has.
theory of
Did
He has
Isak-
been good.
I don't think he saw Isak against Everton.
Yeah,
I don't think he saw
He
that.
hasn't been great
He
out
has
there.
been good.
He hasn't been great
He's
out
been
there.
good. Dad.
He's been good
Stop
at
it.
that, bro.
We'll
Come
see.
on, man.
We'll
Alex,
see. We'll
he's had
see.
a
But
great
yeah,
season, bro.
I'm not starting ahead of Wilson.
That's soonest.
You're not starting with Heather Wilson.
No, of course I'm not. Why would I start ahead of
I'd
Wilson?
start with Heather Wilson.
Wilson's scoring way more goals.
Champions League, we'll see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's the
we
thing.
will see.
Isak's got
And
that
we'll see who they
experience.
sign.
Wilson doesn't.
I think they're just gonna have to flick the switch at some point.
But
They're gonna
Declan
have
Rice would be an excellent signing for them. Would be excellent.
to-
but-
you just wouldn't want to go there. Like to your point, you'd want to go to
Mm.
an Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United, Man City kind of thing. So
Arsenal's one to watch this season in the transfer market.
Why do you say that? Why
Mark
do you
my
think that?
words.
Why do you think that? Expand on that.
is that
for
more
us.
in hope than anything else?
Nah, it's to do with the ownership.
The
So
Kroenkes.
the Kroenkes, they've been in the game for about 20, 24, 25 years now
Mhm.
with their various sports teams.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first 15, 20 years, he just made loads of money. And all their teams, they were known for having rubbish teams. All their teams were very poor across the board. And then I read a report must have been about 4 or 5 years ago, that he's changed his strategy. Because I think he's getting a bit older, he wanted a bit of glory. And then so he started looking at how they can make their teams win. And if you look across the board at their teams now, last year, his main team, LA Rams, they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
His NHL team, Colorado, they won the Stanley Cup last
Mhm.
year as well.
So
This
are you
season,
saying Arsenal?
No, but this
He's
season,
not saying that.
this
He's not
season,
saying that.
Arsenal were very
It
close.
sounds
to winning,
like it.
they were
He's
very
not
close
saying
to winning Champions League. Not the Champions League.
Why?
They're very close
Wow.
to winning the Premier League this
Okay.
season. They had a good run, and his
So
basketball.
you think next season is
and
going to re-up?
but his basketball team as well. They're just about to win the NBA championship. So all their teams
Wait,
now are
Kroenke's
doing well.
in on the Denver Nuggets.
They own him. That was his first team.
Oh, swear.
Yeah, that's his first team.
And
it's going to be the first time in their history that they're going to win that trophy. First time.
and
yeah.
it's,
so-
it's what's it called as well? It's justified. Well, Arsenal are actually justifying his spending
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
them as well.
Yeah, they're
So-
doing like you can see across the board now. He's changed. I don't know if he's getting a bit old, he wants a bit of glory or stuff, but across the board, their teams are all doing well now. So Arsenal's the last one to win the Premier League. That's what they're going to be looking to do. So that's why I say watch Arsenal.
So by your admission, this season, this transfer window, Arsenal are going to have a good transfer window, and hopefully following the footsteps of all the other Kroenkes teams and deliver the Premier League.
Hopefully, I think they'll have a good window. But then obviously, Arsenal's up against a juggernaut. And to win the Premier League, you got to come above City. So you could buy the best players you could get, but still not win it. So nothing's guaranteed. But I think they're gonna go for it because that's what they've been doing across the board.
I
don't think it's a coincidence that all their teams have been fighting for championships after 20 years of being rubbish. All of them.
T, where do you stand on that one?
I feel like the past couple seasons, I feel like they've been justified spending the money. I don't think there's been too many bad signings where they can say, oh, that was terrible. You could look at the Pepe or something like that. But most of it, not every transfer ain't going to be a great signing every single time, innit? But I feel like the majority have been good signings. I feel like they've put trust in Arteta and Edu to make decisions and come together and work out what they want to do. In terms of the players that they bring in, the caliber of players, their characters, everything, I feel like it's been good. So, with that being said, on top of it, the reasons why we fell away and past 2 seasons fell away a bit at the end of the season, I feel like they are going to try and rectify that from now. Sign some serious players. What Arteta wants, whatever list he's made or the players that he wants, I feel like they're going to attack and try and sign every single one of those players and go again next season. Because I feel like they actually believe that, we can win it. There's no reason why anyone at that club believes they cannot win the Premiership next season.
Question. So if then, let's say they spend, right? He gets given 200 mil to spend and he brings in a raft of players. Sells as well. So he's not just spending the whole 200, but he's selling as well. And Arsenal don't do anything next season. Do you think that they're going to continue that level of investment? Or
you win a trophy?
Yeah, like it's not a successful season in the sense of you don't win the Premier League, you don't win the Champions League, and you don't win the FA Cup. They're the 3 major trophies, right? Major keys to success, right? Or measurables. You don't win any of those. Do they then continue that investment again the season after? Like, looking forward, they can't continue to do this investment, right?
I think they will.
Yeah,
I think
depends.
You think they will?
They've not given us any reason to believe that they won't. Like they listened to us a few years back, and since that point, they've just given to the fans what we want. So even if you just take into account this season, we've not achieved anything, but the only thing we've achieved is showing everyone that we're, I won't say back, but we can fight and challenge.
We're a major power within the UK.
We're a major power. We're gonna start pushing in the right direction. So you'd be a fool to not inject some cash and some new players into this team. And then obviously, hopefully next season will be a better season than this season, or at least at the very minimum similar. I can't see the owners not injecting cash into the squad.
I don't think it's a bottomless pit of money. I don't think they'll keep doing that year in, year out.
It's not a
Yeah, I think like it'll get to the stage where it's like, okay, well, this is not happening. So I don't think they're going to just keep pumping in. Like this summer, I'm expecting minimum 200 mil to be spent. But next summer and the summer after that, I can't say it's going to be another 200.
Yeah.
But I feel like at this time they're in the mode of we're going for it.
I mean, spending 200 mil, you're not spending lightly, right? You're looking at least 3 players, right? Because I can't see you spending on Neymar, who's probably worth, your mortgage and a liver. I can't see you spending on, any of the top 5 key players. So you're probably most likely going to bring in 3 or 4 players. And if you do, I mean, you should have a squad good enough to challenge, if not next season, the season after. So yeah.
Well, we challenged this season.
Well, you know what I mean. Like,
But-
when I say challenge, like going to the wire
That's
or
what
winning.
I'm saying. Yeah. So
Right?
next season, if they're looking at it like, well, we challenged this season, and realistically, barring a month, we were running the show. So
Could
let's
that go
spend.
against you? Could
As
that
in,
go
don't
against you?
spend because we got enough.
Yeah.
No, they know we need depth. Arteta's probably in their ear right now telling them we need depth.
Definitely
It's not
need
just
depth,
about-
and we're gonna sell players as well.
Yeah, exactly.
We're actually letting a few go. So yeah, I feel like we're gonna spend, and we're gonna spend.
Could we challenge if we didn't spend? If we went with the same team that we went
No.
last season?
Good question.
No,
Why
I think
why
we
not?
could, but I don't
Why?
think we'll
we'll
win.
fall off again like we did this season. It's just the
No,
depth
but I
is
say
the-
could we challenge? I didn't say
But-
could we win it. I said could we challenge?
But you've now got the experience of
of
handling
going,
that.
Okay, we could challenge to a certain degree, but how far would that take us? We just know it's gonna fall off at some point.
We might take you a little bit further than last year.
I'm not too sure. We need
That's
the
all you
depth.
do. Go a little
We
bit
need the
further than
depth.
last year.
We need the depth. It's a non-negotiable. We need the depth. We can't go into the next season.
And other teams will strengthen.
Yeah, we
So-
can't go into next season with this lack of depth that we currently have. It's not even this. We shouldn't even think it's a possibility. We need to go into the transfer window and buy a few more positions.
And we got. I would. It's hard to saying we was lucky with injuries, but we were kind of.
We were kind of
for
lucky with injuries,
for the majority of the season.
But I
We
guess
actually-
to your point, the injuries kind of was the reason why we slightly fell off. So maybe if we didn't get injured, the lack of depth wouldn't have been so much of an issue. But
I mean, you've
In
made
some
2
respects,
key
it is.
signings so far this summer. This
The
one.
contracts.
oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Saka,
great signings.
Saliba,
Great,
Yeah,
great,
serious.
That's
great
amazing.
signings.
big signings,
signings.
right?
And Martinelli just the other day as well, just before the season
Ah,
ended.
okay.
Yeah, Martinelli.
Okay.
So
Odegaard next.
those were the main three,
Okay. I
and
missed that one.
they've all been done.
We
I
need
think
the
that's
depth.
why. Well, obviously they're probably angling some bidding out. Obviously the transfer market hasn't opened yet. Has it?
And-
It's not opened yet, has it?
No,
No, Thursday.
Yeah, so-
Thursday, yeah.
Thursday, yeah.
And just another word on
So,
the
yeah.
owners. The contracts they're handing out. Arsenal didn't usually hand out these kind of contracts. They're giving them to all of them. All of them have got like 200 plus.
They deserve it, man.
They do.
I
They're being
think
smart
that's
with
Saliba?
contracts as
he
well.
deserve- I feel like he
I
deserves
don't
it.
think he
man.
You don't think he deserves
No,
it?
I'm not saying they don't
Someone else
deserve
will give it to him as well. So that's part of why.
But what I'm saying is that they didn't have to give it to him. They didn't have to, but they've gone and done it. I think it shows a little change in the thinking.
Okay, there's a couple of things. You want to make your player. You want to make sure your player's happy. You want to keep other clubs that will easily, like to T's point earlier, Newcastle will come in and say, "Bro, you want 300,000? Your club's only giving you 150. Take that." It's up to him whether he wants to go to Newcastle, obviously, because they're not as big as your Liverpool's, Man United's, and whatnot. But we can't be given these petty contracts if we're trying to keep our players and keep them happy.
So that brings me to another point, right? The whole wage thing and being able to stretch the limits of what is available for the players, right? What
Yeah.
the agents can go in there and ask for. With all this Saudi money now floating around, and especially now they've got ownership of a Prem team, how much of an impact do you think that has on, agents walking in the room and asking, for significant amounts of money? Like, to your point, Saliba's agent walks into the boardroom, into Eddie's office and says, right, Newcastle are interested and they're offering double his wages. What are you going to do to keep him here? Like, what kind of impact? Do you think that's a wide-reaching impact because of this Saudi money? Because we're going to get onto the Saudi league itself. But, I mean,
I don't think there's much you can do. What can you do? You're not going to offer him it.
So I think you're.
but do you at least try to better his deal? Because let's be honest,
No, you
he's
don't.
not going to want it. He's not. If you come, you can turn around and come and say, "All right, we're not going to give him 300, but here's 220 and a bonus."
No,
That's possible. It is possible. We'll make it better. We'll make your deal better. But we're not going to break our whole
structure.
of our thing. Like, you're just going to be the highest player,
Yeah,
paid player.
just because you.
Then we've probably got clauses in other a few other players that says match
They have to
the
be the
highest.
highest,
Then now we got to give it. No, it's not happening. Sorry, you want to go to the Saudi league or whatever? Go there.
You have to disregard that Saudi offer. Like you have to disregard to offer what you're offering because you're not going to compete with that financially. So there's no point. There's no point even.
It's just going to be a lot of bluff calling,
Saudi
right? Because we've heard that the Saudis want to make their league a respected league, right? In
Not
comparison to the top 5 leagues in Europe. And we've seen that with them pumping all this cash into the league, trying to lure some of the best players or, turn it into a retirement home at the moment.
Basically.
Yeah.
Because they've got Benzema, Ronaldo, Kante's going there. They tried to get Messi, but he's gone to.
I heard that they're trying to get Mahrez.
Mahrez,
I saw about
Mahrez,
Gundogan's been offered a contract.
Jose Mourinho's been offered a manager's role. Steven Gerrard, they're trying to get him out there.
Right.
So, with all of this pumping money and throwing money at the game, the wide-reaching ramifications it has for the rest of the game. I mean, we've seen it already with Chelsea coming in and offering, like T said, is that all you want? 120 at the time. 120 was a lot when Abramovich arrived. Oh, is that all you want? Here's 120. I mean, even players down to their academy were getting big wages. City turned up. It's the same thing. Then PSG turned up. The same thing. The Chinese tried it with their league. That ended up falling apart because they couldn't sustain it financially. But I'm just thinking, okay, well, the Saudi money is different than the Chinese money. This is a little, this is longer.
Different ball game.
So, what kind of impacts do you lot see eventually with the game, with the football, with the game of football itself?
I think it's going to take a very, very long time for us to see the Saudi League as anywhere close to the top 5 leagues. They're just going to keep throwing money at it. And personally, it's like you said, it's going to be like a retirement home for maybe the first 10 years or so. But how sustainable is that? Just keep throwing money at it. You're still going to, the players are still going to want the pull of playing in like the La Ligas or the Premier Leagues. They've got a lot of work to do. It's not just going to be about money. It's going to be about from the ground up. Why do people want to come over and play?
So
they can't do it.
The infrastructure obviously will need working. The development of the league itself, and maybe leagues underneath. Are they affiliated to any kind of Champions League equivalent? Maybe the Asian Champions League, and even then, I mean, as a prime player, are you going to play in the Asian Champions League?
They'd have to try and be associated with the Champions League
or the
for it to
African
even be
Champions
sustainable.
League, whichever.
They're never going to be able to create a rival sporting opportunity. The sporting opportunity, the sporting merit, the football merit is never going to be anything near the same. Like, I don't see them ever attracting anyone under 30. It will be just a time because they tried this a little bit with the MLS when it first come about. They were thinking, everyone's going to go to America, blah, blah, blah. Look at it now. No one's gone to America. Obviously, Saudi's offering more money, but it's only going to be over 30s that's going to be interested once they've done everything they need to do in Europe, i.e. your Benzema's. He's done everything.
But you have to take everything into account as well, bro. Like, the country you're moving to, the culture.
It's a Muslim country.
You have to actually look into that and think, can I be bothered? The money is great, but bro, like, so much.
He's a young Jack Wilshere type going to move to Saudi Arabia.
You Jude Bellingham. If they offer Jude Bellingham whatever figure now, he's not going to go.
Yeah,
there's not going to be a price they could offer him because they would do it. They would offer him whatever he wanted, but he's not going to go.
And that's one of the reasons they have to offer mad money because
just to get them considered. Just to get them in the door.
But it will just highlight the different. I mean, obviously, every player wants a lot of money, right, from the clubs, whoever you're playing for, Arsenal, Madrid, wherever. But every player that plays in that Saudi league, I can see it now. Most people are probably going to look at them and think, well, you've only gone there for the money.
Yeah.
It's not because you want to further your career or win things. It's literally for the money.
And you know what? Not everyone in the league is getting big money. You got that players like Ronaldo and all them on millions and millions. Then their teammates on like £100.
Yeah, because it's still a rubbish. That's because it's still a rubbish league, right?
That's a limit.
Because it's still a rubbish league, so you're going to get that. But the players they're trying to attract to make the league better.
Essentially, we're saying there's too much work at hand.
Too much, way too much
for them to even.
Way too much.
We wouldn't see it in our lifetime.
Not in our lifetime. No chance. No chance.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, think there'd probably be more of a talking point there. But at the same time, it's also quite straight cut in that it's just a lot of work to do.
It's
Too much.
work.
It's too much.
They can do it with certain sports.
Yeah.
Look at the boxing.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
coming
exactly,
like,
yeah.
bro, I ain't. Boy, unless they're paying.
Yeah.
I
I'm not
can't, I'm not
fighting.
even
Yeah.
fighting.
Yeah.
You get me? But that works because you're not living there.
Yeah,
You know?
it's like
Yeah.
a one-off game.
I-
One-off
I-
sport.
all I have
I'm
to
just
do
like-
is go over there
for a night
for the week.
Again, home.
Yeah.
It-
And they-
for the week of my
Exactly, yeah.
fight, I'll go over there,
Yeah.
do the press, do the weigh-in, have my fight,
Yeah.
and go back to my house.
Collect my money.
Collect
first.
all
your
the
check,
money,
check.
yeah.
Get your check.
Collect
You missed
all
the-
that
you missed the
money.
most important bit.
And done. And then I'm out. I'm cool. So I can wait for the big bag. Yeah, I'm going
Yeah.
Saudi. I don't care about fighting in Wembley
Yeah.
and that. No, I'll
And
go
they've done
Saudi.
the exact same thing with the golf as well. They've
Yeah.
taken
Yeah,
over
it's
the
the live
golf.
golf.
Exact same thing. Just have to go out there when the tournament is, be there for 3-4 days, play my tournament, cash my check, see you later.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's different. A whole different ball game when you gotta
Residing
live
there
there
for the season
for
is a
4
different.
Yeah.
years contract, and I can't even walk around with my girl.
Yeah, that's it. They don't be like, yeah, it's the
Man.
they can't offer the lifestyle, but they offer you a rich lifestyle, but you can't do the things you normally do.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, fair enough. Moving back to the point, Mr. Teflon, that I said I'd like to touch on. Jadon Sancho.
Do you want to elaborate on why you call him Mr. Teflon?
Mm.
Because
Mm.
despite everything, all the bad performances, who do you hear about the most
Maguire.
for Man United, right? Harry Maguire. Who do you hear about the least?
You hear about
Sanchez probably there.
Weghorst a lot as well.
Do you really?
Yeah, on this
Anthony?
pod, yeah.
Oh, this one.
Anthony.
Anthony, yeah.
Harry Maguire,
Mm.
Weghorst. I'm not going to say his first name.
I
Woot.
refuse. It's true.
But you
you
don't.
hear more
hear-
about Marsh. Well,
What? Marsh, man.
Marshall, you hear a lot more than
But
Sancho.
you don't
Yeah.
hear about Jadon Sancho,
Yeah.
right? And the only time we really did hear about him was when Ten Hag said, right, you, big man, off to the mountains, go work with the yogis and the Jedis and come back a new man. Like, what is going on there? What do you think it is? Because he came to the league with such promise and such potential, and he's just not even lived up to a fracture of it. T, what do you reckon?
You know what? It's a weird one, man, because Germany is like, it is very, well, when I went there and there was nothing like, to do. It looked like just a place where you're in your yard. There's no going out and stuff like that. It's very much, you can very much focus on your football, innit?
Mm-hmm.
So probably barring Bayern Munich, maybe some bit more. They call that the Hollywood club over there, innit, or whatever. So probably barring that club, well, you could probably say that about every other league other than the Premiership. I just feel like it's so everything you do scrutinized, everything you do. So maybe it's just all got to him. I don't know, man. I think maybe it's got to
I
him.
hear you, but I would argue that point. I do agree with you, but I would argue just for sake of the conversation, Callum Hudson-Odoi, who went to Leverkusen and didn't play anywhere near the level Jadon Sancho got.
I think because they did it the flip reverse right. So Callum Hudson-Odoi,
No, to be honest, he's supposed to really be better.
he should be better, but I think he's. I mean, I can't remember. He's on a high wage from what I remember. I can't remember exactly how
Very
much
high
it is.
wage.
So he's already lived that life in the UK, London in particular.
Do
Where
you think there's a lack of motivation on this?
I think there's a lack of motivation. So I think, like I said, the flip side. So Sancho's gone to Dortmund and
hungry.
Everything is football.
Yeah.
Football. He's not on a high wage. Now he's gone to Manchester. He's got all his buddies there. He's got all his England teammates. He's closer to home. He's on a stupid amount of money weekly. I just think the motivation's not there. The motivation's not there.
It's funny because I've got a different take on it. I don't think he's that good.
Oh,
Wow.
come on. How can you...
Wow.
Come on.
Thanks for listening.
Okay, you know what?
I'm just gonna keep it real.
Wow.
I'm just gonna keep it real.
I feel like I'm dragging it back up here, but This is why I said the player's still in there with Tielemans. Like the player's still in there. You can't say he's not that good.
How
Just
did
because
how did we get it?
No, but you can't say he's not that good just because he's had a rubbish couple of seasons, right? You can't say that.
Where?
Brother,
So even when he was at Dortmund doing his madness, you thought he wasn't good?
No, he was good then. He was good then. But if I've seen you be bad for 2-3 years, why can I not say you're not that good?
No, but Mark, you're kind of. You can't just say, "Oh, but there's a player in there."
Yeah,
but you can't say he's not good.
No, but a part of being a top player is your consistency.
Yes.
I've never disputed that.
Amen.
I fully agree with that.
Amen.
What you
I
do,
fully agree with that.
you have to continue
But
being
so
good.
does that?
If you was good and then you fell off, it means you've fallen off,
Yeah.
bro.
I'm not saying you haven't fallen off, but that doesn't mean you're not good. There's a difference. That does not mean you're not
No,
good.
do you know why you can say what
That
does
does
it
not mean
say? What
Sancho's
does
not
it
good.
say? And he has a point because he was good at a level. That's like saying he was good in the championship. When he got up into the Prem, he isn't done.
Okay, so he's not good then. Is that what the general?
That's my opinion.
Okay.
He doesn't look. He doesn't. He's not looked good at all.
I'm not gonna
at
lie.
Man United.
I agree he's not look good, but I'm not saying he's not good. So,
So-
are you saying he's not good or he doesn't look good?
Maybe he needs to go
There's
back
two
down to
different
his
things.
level.
So you're saying he's not good.
I'm saying he's not good.
I will say, listen,
If
that's
you had
like,
to choose between
bro,
not
it's
good
like
or
it's like us saying, it's like me saying I'm good, and then I go to training with Arsenal. I'm not good anymore. I'm not. I'm far from good. I'm not good, bruv. Until I go back to Sunday in the park with the man there, innit? I'm not good.
that's mad.
That's
All right.
it.
All right, I'll take your
He's
point.
not good.
But he's you can't. I'm not having. He's not good. That's poor.
I'm
And
not
even,
gonna lie to you,
go on,
right? I'm a big fan of Jadon Sancho. Like massive fan.
You're gonna say
I
he's
like
not
his
good.
style.
You're starting down there to just come up and say he's not good.
No. I like his style, and I'm just gonna say, like, I had high hopes for him coming into the Premier League. I thought he was gonna bring that style that we haven't seen in a while. Well, okay, Mahrez, but outside of that, we haven't seen that creative flair kind of wide player that loves to take a man on and just get beyond the defense. Right? He's comfortable on the ball, loves a trick. Haven't seen it in a little while. Right? The first 6 months, all right, it's an adjustment period. But then it shouldn't be because
he's back home. Yeah,
you're home.
Yeah, you should be fine.
This is not new. You play, it's nothing new, right? And then the back end of the season, I was like, all right. Let's just leave it. Maybe it's a blip. First season, maybe he just needed the whole season as an adjustment. The second season now, bro, he's gotten worse. It's like he's gotten worse. It's like the ball comes out to him. What does Jadon Sancho do? Roll, pass back.
He's got no confidence.
It's like there's no confidence whatsoever. I don't understand
Could it be a lack of confidence?
It can't. I mean, to T's point, it looks like all right, I'm back home. I've got all this money and your point as well. I've got all this money and all my friends and I'm blah blah blah. But it looks even deeper than that. It looks like there's something else.
There is one other thing that there's been rumblings of, and it may be why it's a little bit of a taboo, why people haven't been speaking about. If he's got other things going on, like some other issues, like, I don't know, mental issues, something like that, then I'll give him a pass. But we don't know that. So if there's other things going on outside of football, then that maybe is what is affecting his performances, and I can give him a pass on that. But if there's not, which we don't know, then I can only judge you on what I'm seeing on the pitch.
Yeah.
But then when it comes to the end of the season or when they got a break, he's doing up lifestyle, bro. So what?
Well, that doesn't mean you're not.
No, but if you're dealing with stuff, if you're actually dealing with stuff,
I hear you.
I think it's not that plain sailing, bro.
That's like me saying. That's like me saying I'm depressed all the time. I'm depressed. This is why.
The first opportunity.
The first time I'm allowed
You're
to
Bora
come
Bora.
outside of work, I'm living it up. PJs. I got all my jewels on now with my brethren, living it up.
Mental health don't work like that, bro.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying, okay, cool, but
It doesn't work like that.
okay,
It doesn't
cool.
work like that. And yes, we don't want to offend anyone by seeming to.
I wasn't even talking about
Like
mental
that.
health. I just actually, whatever he's got going on in it. I don't know if it's mental. I don't know if it's family issues. I don't know, whatever.
The topic that came, what you mentioned was if he's dealing with mental health, all right, you'll give him a pass. But I'm just based on that, like, if someone does have mental health, they're still going to step outside to try and maybe help get themselves out of it.
Yeah, of course.
It's not as straightforward as
I definitely agree. It's not. There are many faces to it.
Yeah.
Right. And I just think in the season he looks one way. Out of the season he looks another. Ideally, you don't want to become one of those fans. Oh, why are you doing all of this lifestyle? Get back on the pitch. You should be. But sometimes
he makes it easy for you to do that.
It's hard not to see why a fan can go,
Yeah.
hold on a second, what's going on here? Right? I think his time at Man United is drawing very short, personally.
Really?
I think if Man United look to sell him this summer, I wouldn't be shocked.
They said they wanted 60 mil for him. Well, that's what.
Because Dortmund apparently knocking around.
Oh, want him back.
Yeah.
But if
They'll
Man United sell
gladly
him,
take
They
him.
just got the Bellingham money.
If Man United sell him, they have to pay half of his wages. Not half, but a percentage of his wages. No one's paying those wages. He's going to ask for more wages. No one's paying it.
Not if he wants to go, though.
If he wants to go,
Yeah.
I doubt
I don't
he
think
wants to
he
go.
wants to go.
Yeah.
You don't think he wants to
Very
go?
happy.
I think
What if
United,
he's having a bad
he'll
time
probably
or
happily run
whatever?
down his contract. He seems like he's on vacation, bro. He's just enjoying life.
But then that's where it then becomes sticky for him. Because if he opts to run down his contract and continues to churn out these poor performances, his stock decreases, right?
Drastically.
And who then will take a chance on
He'll
him?
probably just go on loan last year of his
Lingard,
contract.
Lingard thing.
Last year of his contract,
Yeah.
ban it up in Germany again and be on the shop window again.
But even with him, he's another one. When he come over from Dortmund, in the England team starting big hype around him, he doesn't even make the squad now.
There's not even
How can
no
you-
one
yeah,
even
no, yeah.
bats
You
an
don't even
eyelid.
think about him. He's not even making the squad. You're playing for big Man United
Yeah.
and you can't even make the squad.
I think there's something deeper going on to Isaac's point. I think there's something.
There has to be because I
something
don't
deeper
understand
going
this
on.
drop off.
He's not.
He don't
saying
even
this-
look the fraction. It's not even like he's trying stuff and you can say, maybe it's just not pulling off him. That confidence. You know, when you're confident,
Is that
you get that jam.
all? Is that all confidence, or is that ability as well?
I would say it's confidence because he's proven that he can do it, right?
At this level?
He's proven that.
At this level?
Well, he's done it for England.
No.
Has he?
No.
He's
You
played
telling
well
me
for
he's not-
England.
he's
played
not played
good
well for
England.
England?
Come on,
No, he hasn't.
boys.
No, he
He's
hasn't.
not played well when he's played for England.
No, he hasn't.
I'm not saying every time, but he has played well for England.
I don't think so.
It doesn't matter then.
I
Not
don't think
every
so.
time. He doesn't.
He hasn't.
like,
He plays well every time.
To
though.
no,
T's
but
point,
what
it's
I'm
not
saying,
consistent.
it's not consistent.
And with
bro.
England, you can't
It
really
ain't.
judge England on competitions, actual tournaments.
It's all a
You
good
can't
talk
tell
about
me he's
consistency.
played well against Kazakhstan or something like that. That doesn't count. That don't count. That don't count. Come
It's
on,
all a
mate.
good talk about consistency, but when we said he's played well, they were thrown back like,
No,
has he
but
ever
that
played
is
well?
part of the inconsistency.
Yeah, but
He
you
played
had- you lot
well
hadn't seen that.
once,
He's-
twice for England, 3 times. Like he don't start for England. That's number one.
because he doesn't start for Man United.
If we're judging England on like what does it, the competitions, who's played well? Who's played well for England?
Everyone's played well.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Saka's
that's
played
all.
well.
Yeah,
Saka,
Saka's
the
played-
most
Kane's played well.
consistent
Kane's played well.
player.
Yeah.
Yeah, but people
Rice has
contribute.
played well.
Foden's contributed.
Foden's played well. Many of them.
Yeah,
played well.
Sancho don't get brought up.
Sancho has done
because
His
he
nothing.
name does
barely
not
plays.
get
He's done
brought up.
nothing.
There you go.
Yeah, but that's not. We're not bringing him into the England squad. I'm not bringing him up with.
Do you remember,
But he should
the
be in the
comparisons
squad. He should
Foden
be.
against Sancho? Now look at the two of them.
Yeah, you can't compare the two. Man.
No, they were doing Sancho and Saka.
At one point
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. He's got that video in the England camp and he's asking Saka how much goals he scored this season.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago.
Hmm.
He's in the England squad in the
There's
training.
a player there. He's just a certain guy.
Ah.
It's simple.
All right.
Yeah, Mark loves that. There's a
Mark
player.
loves
There is a
it.
player
You
there,
gotta
bro.
give Mark one good season. That's it. That he's
No, man.
with you. He's with you for the rest of your career. You're
Man
good.
said
Dan.
one good season. No, but how you know? No, but did you hear your statement? Sancho is not good.
No, he isn't.
Wow. Okay.
Right now
Leave
he's
it there.
not.
No, leave
When
it
was
there.
the last time you seen him play a
We'll
good
leave it
game?
there. Leave it there. Sancho's
Oh,
not good.
all right, cool. I'm good with that.
Do you remember when he was making man drop, just giving them giving them all of that and then just running past it? I need that confidence back. I need that Jadon Sancho back in the Man United team. Because that is
UK, bad
a
vibes.
waste of a player. If his regression is just that's it from now on, as a waste of a player. Honestly.
He should
Or
go.
Sancho.
He should go Aston Villa.
Let him go have some- the club everyone goes to revive their career, right?
All right, cool. It's a bit of a novelty one to end us on, to round us off on. We kind of touched on it last time, but now that it's happened, now that he's secured the Champions League, where are we rating Pep Guardiola?
Worldwide? Or the Prem?
Whichever way you want to look at it.
Worldwide, isn't it? Well, Europe.
Yeah, I think you got to give it to him. Worldwide.
Number one.
He's just a great man, and he's not for it. You know, I heard a rumor today that he might be leaving after these contracts on
When is his contract up?
in 2 years. I'm really when I first heard
now, man.
You know when I first heard it,
You
right?
won it all.
But when I
Leave,
first
man.
heard it, I was thinking, oh, what? He's leaving this season. He's leaving this summer. I was excited, bro. When I heard end of his contract, I was like, oh, another 2 seasons.
He's not going.
Apparently, he's going to run down his contract and go. He's not going to renew because he's won the Champions League now. Apparently,
Oh! Before we continue, did you see the news about why Man City are not happy with him?
not happy with Pep.
Because yeah. So apparently he admitted in the post-match commentary with CBS, kind of in a roundabout way admitted that he has a burner account. So he's on socials.
Oh, that's really what's going on.
Yeah.
So apparently City are not happy.
Why wouldn't they be happy with that? What's,
I have no idea. Probably a clause in the contract.
what to know what you're tweeting?
Yeah, you know how they are. They don't want
Jeez,
people
man.
on socials in a way that they can't control. So
Yeah, but so long as he's
apparently-
not tweeting anything that's going to tarnish his name or City's name, that's what no one knows. It could just be a burner account that looks like a City fan.
an egg.
That's what I'm saying. An egg.
Pep 10987.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean,
Really.
does that like kind of interest you in any way to know that he's? I mean, I suppose they all have burners accounts in some way, shape, or form, right?
Yeah.
Maybe someone that's close to them will have their socials, but does that interest you that Pep himself is scoping the socials and checking out what's going on?
It's a bit weird.
So what
I
kind of
wouldn't-
stuff do you think he does? You think he searches his own name?
Yeah, definitely.
You must do. You must do.
Definitely.
I don't see why I would do it. I'm trying to wrap my head around why he would.
I think I would
want
do
a
it.
burner account. Yeah,
If I was a player or manager, I think I would.
to do what then?
Just to see what people are saying.
You can see that with a
Heat
normal
checks.
account.
Check the temperature.
You know, you should see like,
But you can see that with a normal account.
Huh?
You can see that with your main account.
yeah, he hasn't got a main account now, innit?
But you might want to respond every now and again. You might want to
His-
let
his-
someone
his
know,
point
innit?
is, if I was a player, I would do that. I would have a burner account to see what everyone's saying, but you could do that with your main account.
Yeah, you could.
But maybe he doesn't want a main account because that means you've got to have 100 million followers and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
He doesn't want that.
Maybe he just wants to scope it out.
Okay,
every
so if
now
you was a player with your main account, you still have a burner account.
A lot of
No, I
people
wouldn't
do.
be. No, I wouldn't be doing the Kevin Durant thing and start arguing with 12-year-olds and then stuff like that. No, I wouldn't do that. But I would like to see a general scope of what people are saying about me. Of course you would. This is.
But this is what I'm saying. We're saying the same again. He wants to see what people are saying. But
Yeah,
if
I'm
you've
not
got-
gonna. I'm not to respond.
Well, it's
You're not
obviously
trying
for a
to-
purpose that he can't
Yeah,
do on his
exactly.
main
It
account.
must be,
so
yeah.
whatever it is, it's something he can't do on his main account.
Does he have a main account? I don't think he does.
There's an account that is attributed to him, but it's not ran by him.
Oh, okay. It's run by the team,
Yeah.
the media team.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, yeah, I just found it interesting because the first question was, I wonder what he searches. You know? I wonder what he looks at. I wonder what he goes looking for and stuff like that. And,
I could imagine.
do you know what I mean? And just probably looking at all these accounts and thinking, no, that's not what I meant by that tactic.
Yeah.
I didn't want him to stand like that and
It
receive
must
the ball.
be interesting, though. It must not be interesting to see. I reckon everyone probably does it.
Yeah, I think every player.
You wouldn't be
pretty
intrigued
much
to see
does
what people are saying about your performance or whatever.
Yeah, but I've got a main account. I can see with that account. That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
I don't need a burner
Yeah, but
account
we're
to
actually
see.
saying it like that's what he's using it for.
Yes,
That's what I'm saying.
It's not to see. I can see with my main account. Why would I have a burner account? What's the purpose of having a burner account? Is it to reply to people that are chatting rubbish about me that I can't reply otherwise? There must be a reason. It wouldn't be just to see what people are saying. It'd be
Yeah, I mean, it definitely helped in my rating of him. That's nice to know.
But yeah, so did that add
Best
to your
manager
rating
with
of
Burna
making him
account.
the
Come
best
on.
manager in the world?
He's already been. He's my number one across all categories.
Cool. There's no point putting a list out there, but yeah, I think he's definitely my number one throughout the world. But obviously, you still can't give it to him yet in the Prem.
Yeah, but that's the main talking point, isn't it? Him or Sir Alex?
Yeah, I think if I'm going to choose one manager just based on their style and how they approach the game, I'm going to give it to Pep. But it's always going to be a talking point because like I was about to say Arteta. Sir Alex has won 13 Prems, bro. That's always going to be a sticky point, bro. You're always going to have that debate, Pep or Sir Alex. It's going to come down to preference.
It's always going to come down to that because of like you said, the 13, and we're never going to see Pep stay for this long to win 13. So, but I think there's going to come a point where it's that won't even matter.
Yeah, I think if you take into
City
account,
City win the league next season, that won't even matter. Them 13 won't even matter.
How many years has Pep been at City?
6. It's going on to his 7th year now. If this wasn't already his 7th year,
How many
came
years
here
is-
2016.
How many years was Sir Alex at Man United?
20 something.
Yeah,
So the ratio is already in Pep's favour, right?
Yeah, if Pep stayed at City for 20 years, that 13 will be gone.
I think he's been there
Be
7
22.
seasons because he's won 5 with them now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One season he didn't win. So that's
2.
it.
No, 2
First
seasons. The first season.
First season,
Oh,
and
2,
this
yeah.
season Liverpool won. So he's 7 years.
So 7, yeah.
First season they didn't even come second.
Third.
They
Yeah.
come
If
third.
Pep stayed there for 22 years, it'd be 22 trophies straight. Well, maybe not 22 because he's behind in it, but
Chelsea win it that year.
definitely. Huh?
The first year.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yes.
Conte.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it was
That first
Chelsea's
season,
first City.
just figuring everything out. I remember that. They was making a lot of mistakes.
A lot of mistakes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because a lot of the players just they weren't
He
good
wasn't
enough.
ready for that.
Yeah.
But they always
And
have
he
to
will
adapt to
always
him,
play.
right?
Yeah, he will. You have to still play it.
Yeah,
I don't care how many
Regardless
mistakes
of how
you
bad
make.
it is. Yeah.
Mm.
That's it. I remember Stones was making
Yeah.
mad mistakes.
Yeah, do you remember that?
Yeah.
Giving the ball away, like he just trying to play out, he just kept giving the ball away.
Joe
And then
Hart
he
was
got
gone.
dropped. To this day, I laugh about that, because he done him dirty. He said, "Yeah, you're just not good enough. Bye, bye."
I can imagine how much of a
England
culture shock
number
would
one.
be for if you're being managed by a different manager and Pep turns up. It must be such a culture shock where. Because
Joe Hart was England number one.
Yeah, but the training is just completely different. I'm sure it's mad.
Fam, his whole career went downhill after that. His
Well,
whole
after getting
career
dashed.
went downhill after that.
After getting dashed,
Yeah, after Pep dashed him, like his whole career.
But it's mad because he was.
Italy or something.
Yeah, Torino.
Yeah, but it's
to
like-
Torino.
You know when he left, yeah, like it's like everyone thought, yeah, he is dead. I just didn't want him. No one
Literally.
wanted him. Like, but he
Literally.
went from England's number one to when Pep landed, he was like, no, he's dead. Like, don't you not see this? Or something. That's what it was like. Don't you not see this? That was
But
funny.
the worst thing about
Literally.
it, the goalie he brought in to place him weren't that much better initially.
innit?
Yeah, he was
Gladio
terrible.
Bravo.
And then he saw him and thought, oh no, I need to get rid of him. And then got Edison the next
Yeah,
season.
yeah. But that's true, What a manager comes in and goes, right, this is your king. This is your number one.
That's mad.
Club
That's
legend.
mad,
He was club legend as well,
We
know.
all thought.
Yeah.
Let's not kid ourselves. We all thought Joe Hart was a good goalkeeper, but I just think he wasn't. He
Nah,
wasn't
yeah,
what.
I didn't have.
There was
I
no one
didn't
else
say
to
a
compare
bad.
him with. Yeah.
It wasn't a bad thing. I didn't have a bad thing to say about him. But then when we saw what Pep wanted from his goalkeeper, then we understood.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He'd be
That
good
was
on
it.
your feet too.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. When Zlatan scored that bicycle,
Was that against Joe Hart?
yeah,
Oh,
The heart.
yeah, I was a little like,
You're not expecting that though. Look at that. You're not expecting that.
He ran out like a.
he handled that like a mummy. Let's be honest. It was, yeah. But to your point, that is a good observation. Like when Pep's come in and gone, no, this is what a keeper should do. Yeah, you're right.
so Pep killed Joe
that's
Hart's career
crazy.
basically.
That, I mean, it's not far fetched to say.
It's harsh. Man, send him to Scotland.
What happened to him after that? Where did he go
He's at
after
Celtic
that?
now,
He
isn't
just
Did he go
was like-
straight to Italy?
Torino.
Or was it?
Yeah, he went to Italy on loan,
Then he came
and then he
back.
came back, and then I don't know what happened to him, and then he ended. Now he's at
Was
Celtic.
it, was it Burnley at one point?
Yes,
Yes,
he was at
yeah,
Burnley,
yeah,
yeah. He was at
yeah.
Burnley, and now he's
He
at
was.
Celtic.
Yeah.
Oh no, man! Big up Man City for winning it. Big up Pep. Big up West Ham as well, winning the Conference League. So
Yes, indeed.
couple of European champions.
Yes, indeed. I think it's been a good European campaign for the UK.
Yeah, for the Premier
2
League.
out of 3. Do we repeat it again next season? Like, I know it's early, way too early to say, but
I don't think it's too early to say, man. I don't see why not.
Do you think
I don't see why not.
do you think Premier League's done really well though?
League
Obviously
has done
1-2,
really
but if you think about the semi-finals and stuff like that, a lot of the teams went out quite early. If you think
It's
about
the
it,
winners, isn't
I think
it?
we've got a good chance of making all the finals next year.
I mean, Champions League, Real Madrid with Jude coming in, and if they get Harry Kane,
I'm
hearing they're going for Kylian.
Mbappe and Davis, isn't it?
because
Davies.
he apologised, didn't he?
He's
Alfonso.
told
Perez.
he's told PSG that he's not renewing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in 2025 he's not renewing. So they got 2 years.
Because he also apologised to Perez, didn't he?
Yeah.
And was like, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done what I did.
Yeah.
Like, if you still want me.
He kind of reneged, didn't it? Yeah. He signed that he was coming and changed his mind.
I mean, I can see Real Madrid stepping it up if Bellingham slots in really well. If they get Harry Kane, I can't see Harry Kane going, but if they do, then they're possibly number 1 contenders in my eyes.
Barcelona?
Nah.
No. I don't think they're the powerhouse they used to be. Honestly, I don't think they are.
Well, Champions League, I can see City being in the final. Europa, you got Liverpool in there. I could see them getting to a final.
Are they going to take it seriously, though?
Yeah, of course they
I
will.
think so.
What do you think?
I think they'll take it serious.
Why not?
My view is they will take it as seriously as they can. It's still a European competition. I think he'll probably mix in youth and give them an opportunity to get European experience. Whereas obviously if it was Champions League, he probably wouldn't, unless we were clear at the group stage.
Yeah.
I think he'll take it as seriously as he can. I think maybe early on, test it out, feel what the temperature's like. Then as we progress, we'll get gradually serious.
These European coaches, they rate the Europa League.
They do.
Yeah, like it's another feather in their cap. If they win it, it's seen as a big trophy.
And again, to the reverence of the trophy, I mean, the UEFA Cup used to be a big thing.
Yeah.
I thought it was. I felt like it was to me.
Yeah, it was.
Watching
Still is.
Inter versus Lazio in 1997, that was a big thing. They still...
Original Ronaldo.
Bro.
Oh, my God.
Bro. I don't know if what you remember that game, but I remember watching that from start to finish.
Man.
What he did to Nesta.
Oh, on the
that
sideline.
byline.
Yeah. It's unplayable.
It used to be a big
yeah,
trophy.
Yeah, it was massive. But in them times, European Cup was only the league winners, so that's why you had a lot of really good teams in the UEFA Cup.
Yeah, true. Yeah. See, so we need to bring these trophies back, man. Make them big spectacles. I think the money side of it has ruined a lot of that. And that's a topic for another.
But I think Liverpool got far in that, definitely.
I can see Liverpool making a final. And Villa with Emery in the conference.
Yeah.
And see them reaching a final. So
if West Ham have got
could be a clean sweep.
I think that's if Liverpool get back to
early prediction, clean sweep.
Clean sweep.
Wow.
I think Liverpool. I think Liverpool only get to the final of the Europa if they have a good transfer window. Because I still think you guys are a bit shaky, man. There's some tricky teams in that competition, bro.
Is there? What, next season?
Yeah, but I feel like
in general,
Europa gets serious around quarter/semi-finals.
Yeah, but if you're not in your game in the league, in the qualifying,
nah, but I feel like Liverpool can get to the quarterfinals quite easily.
Yeah, you play your second.
Then
team
it gets a bit. It might get a bit. You might get a Sevilla. You might get someone in it, but quarters should easily reach quarters, semis. And then it's the one-off games. Who knows what could happen, whatever. So that's why I believe 100% they could get to the City. Same with Pep, KDB, Haaland again next season. I can't see them not reaching semis minimum. They should reach the semis again. And then who knows what could happen? They could come up against anyone. Anything could happen. But I can see it's probably the only one that I'm thinking never know is Villa because
I've never been in there.
yeah. But with Emery,
who's
The
won
play-
back
yeah,
to back
yeah. He
Europas.
He knows
and
where,
those players are
yeah.
they're listening to him. They're taking
Yeah.
on what he's saying. They should
I mean,
be able
and
to
for a
reach
lot of
there.
them, this is their first time in Europe.
I
Ollie Watkins.
suppose who are they going to be up against?
Exactly. I
They're
mean,
going to
Ollie
pull the other
Watkins,
seventh place teams.
it's a chance for him to go into Europe, play well, and play himself into the England squad. Hopefully, a lot of them. It's their first time this kind of level with a proven manager in Europe.
Yeah,
Oh,
true.
yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they make a deep run into the Conference League.
They should.
So yeah, it'd be good to see. But ladies and gentlemen, that is our time for today. Thank you for listening as ever. Again, please subscribe, please follow, please share, please repost and comment. We love your comments. We will be engaging with you in the comment section. So yeah, tell us your thoughts. And as ever, thanks for listening.
Thanks,
Yes,
peace.
thank you.
Peace.
Thank you.
Peace.